What is going on, everybody? It is episode 287 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name's Brett. I'm back for another episode with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I'm back. I was actually absent on Friday because I was at the March for Life. I saw someone comment, you couldn't have a more based reason to be gone from Pop Culture Crisis.
And people were like arguing about it in the
Really?
comment. Yeah, people were like arguing about it. It was kind of
Really?
weird. Yeah. Like,
what is there to argue about? I don't know. I was gone, okay? But I'm back.
She's back.
And that's the good news. We don't need to argue anymore.
Yes.
And we have our main guest host with us today.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Introduce
Dane
yourself.
Font here, marketing man extraordinaire and the patron saint of White Boy Summer.
That he is. Guys, before we get started with all of it, we did hit 50,000 literally 1 minute after the episode went off the air the other day. So that's my
Nice.
fault. I could have like waited, I guess, and like
Watched it happen live.
and watch it happen live. But I didn't have it pulled up on two separate screens. So I had as soon as I hit end episode and I went back into the YouTube Studio Creator, I looked and it said 49,999, and I'm like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
man. So guys.
I like that main guest host has stayed in the Pop Culture Crisis lexicon for this long. It's actually lore from the 200th episode, right? And it stayed all this time. I don't even know if people know what it means anymore.
Was it from 200?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. So I screwed up that bad during our 200th episode?
During episode 200. And now episode 300 is coming up. We just hit the 50K milestone. I'm sure the next one is quickly on the way, thanks to you guys. But, let us know what you would like us to do for our 300th episode. I don't know. I'm fresh out of ideas.
I wonder what passive-aggressive dunk I'll get on the 300th one.
Yeah.
It's our almost main guest.
Is that
host
going to be
today.
our tradition now? Every 100 episodes, we just are rude to Dane.
We swat Dane on the nose. Yes, that's what we do every time that happens.
Just don't act like it wasn't intentional, Brett.
Look.
We know what you're doing.
Look, I can only make so many mistakes per episode. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, guys. Mindy Kaling has proved once again that for feminists, it's rules for thee, but not for me. As always, when they push back against the patriarchy, it's do as I say, not as I do. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the fact that there are certain celebrities now that are now beyond criticism. You are forced to apologize if you like Beyonce more than Rihanna. That's a thing. Rihanna.
I know that's
Rihanna.
the factually correct way to say it, but I'm always going to say Rihanna. I'm sorry.
I know,
Wait,
right?
it's actually Rihanna?
Yeah.
It's actually Rihanna. If you listen to anything ever, it's just like Gal
she
Gadot.
introduces herself. She's like, "Hello, my name is Rihanna."
Yeah.
It sounds
But I
silly.
don't care. I'm still going to say
Rihanna.
Rihanna every time.
It's weird.
Okay, well,
It's weird. We're going to talk about that. So this guy was forced to literally make an apology because we live in a
To
stupid...
grovel, drag himself
Yeah.
in broken glass. Yes.
It's very sad. Milf Manor.
It's still on the air, and it's getting cringier and cringier by the day.
I'm not watching it, but we do. Mary sent me this absolutely abhorrent clip that it's hard to believe. We'll play it.
It's more
on
than
Twitter.
more than cringy. It's extremely creepy.
It is. And then we're also going to talk about world famous drug smuggler Brittney Griner getting a comic book made about her.
Iconic. Yes,
super-
Queen Slay.
Basically, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm not feeling the best, guys. I haven't been feeling the best the last couple of days, but we're gonna power through this today. It's gonna be a good one. So, if you guys are ready, we will get right started. We're not gonna do cringe just yet. I want to talk about a couple of things before we do cringe. Mary, are we ready?
We're ready.
Dane.
see.
All right, guys, there's a couple of quick things I want to point out. There was some comments in the chat in some of the episodes the other day that seemed to think that we weren't willing to admit that Avatar 2 worked, but Avatar 2, $2 billion in like no time.
It happens.
Look, maybe we are in our very own bubble.
Mea culpa.
And somebody said I was like, I don't know any. We said during our last episode where we talked about it, like, I don't know anyone that's seen this movie. That's hyperbolic. I do know a lot of people that have seen this movie, but it's not like I see a lot of major press around it in social media spheres.
It's not even, I've seen lots of press from the official media outlets. I've seen no organic social media hype around it. I've seen no memes, which is how I usually gauge the organic success of something.
Actual interest from
I
people.
think it's sus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even that I doubted it could make it to 1.5 or 2 billion.
It's how
so much
quickly
as
it
I
did.
resented James Cameron's arrogant attitude Oh, Dane's stripping. Guys, send the super chats. He's taking the
I did it fast
off.
this time.
It was very fast. Look,
You're almost getting too easy for them.
to me, it was how fast it got there. I mean, it did it in record time. Like it's been in theaters for like 6 weeks.
So it's either we're out of touch or James Cameron is inflicting some kind of psyop on us.
Yeah.
I still don't know a single person outside of YouTube that's seen the movie.
It's a lot of people.
It's nothing to write home
but
about.
this goes in line with I put up a poll today that asked people if they've seen our Last of Us episode 2 review, and even that the comments in that are all over the place with people like. Why does right-wing media want this show to fail? To which I say, since when are we right-wing media?
I would certainly hope not.
I don't think you can be classified as right-wing media when you make fun of the term woke as much as we do. I think
honestly,
sure.
Guys, The Last of Us is so woke.
I might simp a little bit for like Wesley Snipes not paying his taxes, but that doesn't make me right-wing.
Then why are we all wearing pencil skirts if we're not right-wing media?
They were
Don't
traditional
expose
dresses.
what's going on
This isn't
outside
a Zoom
of
call.
frame.
This isn't a Zoom call. You can't pull this off you can only do that when it's a Zoom call.
I got great legs.
So look, Avatar 2, $2 billion already. I mean, it really does feel hard to believe, but good for them. They're making their money. It was a decent story, and that means we're going to get the third one. So we'll have to see where that goes. Also, this is really good news that I missed the other day. Okay, good news might be a little bit hyperbolic.
Neutral.
Matt Damon has signed on for a new Jason Bourne movie with director Paul Greengrass, who I believe directed all of them, but the first one. He directed everything after the Bourne Identity, I believe. So that's very interesting. I'm amazed that they're not recasting him.
The most recent one, and Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum.
Yeah, like I wasn't a huge fan of just Jason Bourne, but all of the first three, Identity, Supremacy, like all of those are really, really good.
Well, guess what, guys?
An Ultimatum.
They're doing a full franchise reboot.
Yep.
Oh my God.
No.
No way.
I mean, it's a possibility.
Somebody in the chat says Brett is far left deep down inside. Is that what I am?
I mean, I won't be the one to say it. You dig yourself in your own hole.
So guys, this is like, look, they're not recasting him, which is shocking. Like I'm surprised they're not going to shock him. And considering how much in the Bourne franchise is kind of like Mission Impossible, where the bad guy's always like some corrupt government official, and we just did the thing the other day about how they won't cast non-white guys as bad guys. So it's going to be it's going to be white bad guys too, because they're not going to want to cast minorities as the bad guy because it's always a corrupt government official. Mission Impossible, Bourne Identity, or Bourne franchise always feels like it's some corrupt government official.
I feel like there's some white guys that are seniored in past wokeness.
What do you mean?
Matt Damon is one of them.
Yeah,
because
Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
He like kowtows all the time.
He is.
And he
too.
was
He's
like
hilarious.
voted, the sexiest man of the year one year. Like they only give that to people like him and John Legend, who are complete beta simps.
He sims for teachers. Which is
but it always felt like he kept his activism, like he was an activist even back in the day, but his always kind of just felt more like he actually meant it to me, because he was doing it at a time when it wasn't
That's
as
worse, almost.
I'm saying, but I can appreciate
like Leonardo DiCaprio and his climate
his is not
stuff,
real.
You know?
His is not real. Like, okay, there was somebody here, I can't remember his name, a guest who was on IRL long time ago, over a year ago now, and he said something that's like, Leonardo DiCaprio only does that stuff because it allows him to sit on his yacht with the supermodels and then they just leave him alone. Like, it's literally just him doing it so that he can keep his extravagant life to himself, and then nobody calls him on it.
Sick strat, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and then plus, like, remember, like, then what was it? The Leo and 21-year-old thing came up recently. That like people just started noticing that he was always sleeping with women.
Zoomer girls just have a lesser carbon footprint, and I'm actually saving the environment.
That's his logic. He's like, it's not that I'm a creep. It's that I really love the environment.
Yes.
So we will see where this goes, guys. But now Mary has cringe of the day for us.
We do. We have a good cringe today. I saw this and instantly knew. I just can't stand celebrities sometimes.
I like the hat.
This is from Paris Fashion Week. Doja Cat was covered in Swarovski crystals that are bright red for 5 hours straight by 30,000. I think it was like 30,000 all over her body. And then there's this awkward video that surfaced of her sitting near Kylie Jenner, who has a lion on her,
where she like had to come out and be like, it's not real, it's fake, as if like we assumed.
you have a lion on
She
you.
was fearing PETA's wrath.
But I love the caption. It was just like the elevator music vibes that are going on right here.
Because they're all like awkwardly not making eye contact.
Zero thoughts, zero words being said, just selfies.
Should we play this?
They're so socially awkward.
Like she has to like take a lot of drugs to not realize that she looks ridiculous while sitting there like this.
I don't think she can even make facial expressions with those glued onto her face. Can she even smile?
That is nightmare fuel, dude. Music might be copyrighted. Sorry, you don't get to play.
You look cringy.
Why?
Like,
if you
spent 5 hours to look this cringy.
If you wanna like audition to be in the next Hellraiser movie, girl, just say so.
She looks like she fell in a volcano.
So Doja Cat is continuing her spiral into madness.
It's my favorite part when these are the people that tell you how to live your life. They're like, hey, I understand. Like, I'm a celebrity. I'm just like you. They somehow believe that that's totally normal.
Dude,
like
what a horrible outfit.
A celebrity's idea of what normal is so far outside of the traditional human being's experience that it's almost pointless.
And I hate when the justification is always, you're a commoner, you're a peasant who doesn't understand high art.
I guess.
Like, no, and that's what it is.
I mean, I'm okay with that, but also your high art sucks.
It's like when you look at that, you're just like, look, whatever your life is, whether you have a completely rational explanation for this outfit, whatever, it's so far outside the realm of what I will ever experience in my life that I can't take you seriously. I can't.
Yeah, like, just know if you're a blue collar worker, this woman hates you.
It's like literally they want to feed them. It's like feed them cake. It's literally bread and circus.
Remember when like we saw the Capitol elite class in the Hunger Games?
Yeah,
they dressed more subdued than this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like they were more tasteful than whatever this is.
In the chat, Matthew James says just needs MAGA on it. Oh my God, yes, get Melania in one of these. Am I right?
Yeah, love to see that.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get right into it. Remember, guys, when we talk about celebrities, especially feminist celebrities, let me get this pulled up here. When we talk about feminist celebrities, it's projection. It's almost always projection, and they really do believe that whether it's because they feel that they're entitled to act badly because bad things were done to their gender in the past, or they simply believe they are above the law or above reproach. It's kind of like the male feminist argument, like you can never trust a male feminist. Well, you can never trust a female feminist either, especially when they're celebrities. So it says, tell anyone and you're fired. Velma star Mindy Kaling forced a kiss on co-star without consent, threatened to fire him if he sued her. That is a little bit hyperbolic. She threatened to fire the producers behind the scenes as like what I would say was taken out of context, which was clearly a joke. Here's the funny thing about this. This is an actor named Lee Pace, the one that she kissed. He is gay. So it reminds me first of Katy Perry and, who was it?
Katy Perry was a judge on, I think, The Voice or The X Factor.
Yeah.
And one of the contestants admitted that he hadn't kissed a woman before.
Yes.
And so she just decided it was a normal and acceptable thing to do to just get up and force herself on him.
Well, it's decades of guys going like, I wish that was my teacher. Every time there's a story of like a teacher who abuses a student when it's a female teacher, it's a decades of guys.
And then the second thing, of course, is Margot Robbie improvising a kiss with Brad Pitt on the set of Babylon.
Because he's just so hot.
And,
of course.
We covered that story briefly when it came out. And it was basically like, all of these people are weird. I don't know. Margot Robbie is conventionally attractive. I'm sure Brad Pitt was not traumatized from the experience.
But Mindy Kaling kissing you could be traumatizing. I'm just saying.
It definitely could be.
So I've noticed two phenomenons in the world right now. If you get accused of sexual misconduct, you're non-binary or trans, depending on how bad the
accusation is. Yeah.
And if you want to get away with just inappropriate stuff at work, you're a feminist.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's what she got. Also, she was a producer on this. That's the big thing about this story is she talks about, she's like, I'm kind of the boss, so I'm in charge. I'm like, this sounds like every casting couch story I've ever heard before.
Well, this was a, quote, resurfaced clip from about 6 years ago when she was on Conan in 2015. And he teed this up for her. She started telling this story from when she was on the Mindy Project, where she was one of the writers. And it's this scene where she's in bed talking to Lee Pace's character.
Yeah, we've got
it's
the
like a
quote here.
flashback scene. So here's what she said. The temptation is there. I've succumbed to that temptation. She said she's around handsome men on film sets all the time, and she has the self-control to behave like a lady. So in regard to Lee Pace, she said he came on the show and we had to do this flashback sequence where we were in bed together in college and we're supposed to be having a conversation. But he's so tall and so handsome that in the middle of it, he was just supposed to be like, what do you think, Mindy? And I was like, and then she imitated kissing him in an improvised part of that scene that was not scripted. And she said afterwards, she went backstage and all these producers were like, hey, you could get sued for doing that.
Yeah, the producer
if it
said
wasn't
that to her.
scripted,
Yeah.
you're basically going to get sued for sexual harassment if you do this again. And she said she got very scared and said, tell anyone and you're fired.
Wow.
If a guy joked about, like the Chris Ray-Gun was talking about this, he goes, I understand that they consider the argument of like reverse the roles and that they consider that a tired argument, but I think people consider it a tired argument because it works. You could not reverse the roles on this.
Every argument that's fair is that you can't use it.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that's really funny. This could be just a case of, I still remember this random piece of IMDb trivia from like 5 years ago where apparently on the set of Miss Pettigrew Lives, Lee Pace was starring in that movie with Amy Adams, and Amy Adams said at one point he was off screen, like off camera, like in full costume, and he was in like a suit, he was in like a tux, and she said she had to have him leave the set because he was so dashing and handsome that she couldn't concentrate on doing her lines.
That's almost too.
This is a piece of trivia that I remember from like 5 years ago. So this is not anything new. So this is not something completely out of the realm of possibility. All the other thing is that the actor is gay, and so this might be way more abhorrent to him than it would be to someone who is straight.
I don't know. I think all of these people are in an insulated culture of former theater nerds, and obviously, if Lee Pace had a problem with it, he would have an opportunity to say that right now. He hasn't said anything.
So if we want to measure what consequences going to be, we got to go back to the oppression tier list.
Yeah, you have to check the...
So white gay guy versus minority woman. What's more?
And she's bisexual, so...
See
that gives her
an upper
hand. She's also a
feminist. And a feminist.
I'm assuming he's a feminist too if he's gay.
I think this allows us to peer into Mindy Kaling's terrifying psyche.
Yeah.
I think she's just, based on how she writes Sex Lives of College Girls, how she writes Velma as well, where Velma is the center of attention and affection for literally everyone, despite being a horrible person and visually repulsive.
Can I?
She just has this psychosexual obsession with white men. And people have called her out for this from all parts of the spectrum. Yeah. People have called her out because women of color in shows that she writes and produces are never in any romantic relationships with like people other than white men. It's because she self-inserts so frequently that this is all she shows in her content. Like the Mindy Project is just the prequel to Velma.
It's like AOC and Ilhan Omar. Hate white men in their politics, all date white men.
It's an all too common story, And I would say it's an exaggeration to call this quote Weinstein level.
No, I agree.
But I mean, I do think that someone who can't play by the rules of their own game, that would immediately dogpile on someone for something similar or lesser that they were accused of doing, I absolutely think she should be called out for this. Yep. And she should be expected to respond and apologize and grovel, and no apology should be good enough.
It will never matter.
That's how you win. Just play by their rules and they will instantly collapse.
No, not really. It won't matter because they don't care. They have no morals. They have no sense of actual decency. So
it's striking how casual she is about it.
It's the same reason why Defiant L's doesn't actually do any good, because if you post stuff like that, you post a bunch of people being hypocritical, but these are the people that believe that there is no truth but power. They don't actually care that they're breaking the rules. They care that you're breaking the rules that they set for you.
Yeah, hypocrisy, being called a hypocrite doesn't really matter.
Doesn't affect
if you don't value being truthful with your word.
Also, it just gets drowned out in 50 or 100 new articles, none of which will cover any of this.
And they're in nonsense land when words don't mean anything anyway.
Yeah, they've changed the language so much that like, even between assault and misconduct. Also, remember, guys, that Velma is now the 3rd worst rated show in TV history. So, at least there's some comeuppance. But even then, I don't know if it matters. I don't think this show is ever expected to go past 1 season. I don't think they want it to.
What's the first 2 worst show?
I don't have them listed here. I thought it went higher.
I'm pretty sure the highest is Miss Marvel.
Oh, yeah. And then...
so I don't care about the consensus of ratings on anything.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny to watch
The
it
Witcher, Percy
sink.
Jackson, and now Velma, Scooby-Doo is they're talking about shows that have been ruined by people that don't know how to respect the original content. Look, she was never going to take any of these claims seriously. She doesn't care. She believes that because she's a feminist and because women have suffered at the hands of men for decades, she's allowed to behave like this, and it's no big deal.
Well, good for her.
I mean, yeah, it's surprising. If you watch this clip, we can't show it because of copyright reasons. You can see by the tone of her voice and her body language that she is just so her attitude about this and telling this story like it's a joke. She's just so flippant about it because she knows she is beyond reproach.
Yeah.
And it's only because she has been artificially bolstered by this industry due to checking off certain boxes. She's a queer woman of color, and she can philosophize about feminism and act holier than thou with no consequences for when she doesn't abide by the rules that she sets for others. She doesn't live up to the standards that she sets for others.
It's because they want you to live up to them. They don't believe that they need to. They believe they are part of a protected class. They are part of a chosen few. It's the same logic behind why they dress up like they're in the Hunger Games and get to act like complete morons detached from regular society, while the rest of you need to deal with spiking inflation, high gas prices, and endless other problems that they will never have to live down or deal with, despite the fact that they will advocate for policies that directly damage the middle class. I understand that's like a sideways argument, but I'm saying it's the same mindset, right? They don't believe that they are to be held to the same standards as everyone else in society.
Here's what I don't get, right? Because I understand that a lot of the psychology that applies to these situations is the hurt people hurt, but we're kind of contemporaries with her, and millennials are from a generation where we were kind of born into the desire to look past, racial and social issues of the past and come together. So it really, I'm sure, similar to everyone, that she's had her ups and downs as she's gone through life. But where is this level of hurt, right, where they just absolutely hate and despise the others from them?
I don't know if they necessarily do. I think a lot of it is just
it like
it's part of
trained?
it's just trained into them and part of the industry.
I think that a lot of celebrities, the celebrity class just views themselves as a pantheon of like gods or demigods among the rest of humanity. And unfortunately, the viewers are often playing into that delusion that they have.
Well, yeah,
by
celebrity
idolizing
worship.
them.
Celebrity worship is a huge problem. Like that maybe more than anything that bothers me is the amount of people that oh my God, this person is this. I'm like, you've never met this person. You know nothing about this person. I have certain celebrities that have given me reason to like them, like a Tom Cruise or a Keanu Reeves, but never so much as me. Is it going to be me assuming that I know what they're like in their private lives? I can speak about what they've done for their industries, how they behave in relation to their job, but I'm never going to pretend like that makes them good people, because it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that, I'm asking you in particular because you're from a younger generation, I don't think that Gen Z has like the celebrity I think every generation celebrity worship is lessened a bit.
No, I think it's worse now because of influencers. Yeah, I think that they worship influencers.
But I think they're worshiping the hive mind, the cause, the objective. I don't think they're worshiping the person, because they discard the people as soon as they don't serve the greater cause, right?
It is kind of interesting that, like, for celebrities, like especially if you're an internet celebrity, the second that you just step away for more than a day, you've evaporated, you don't exist anymore. Like, that is kind of like the downside of like internet celebrity per se. Like, it's a never ending cycle. Like, you can't just stop working. Like you have to keep continuing to produce content, make material, otherwise you just evaporate and you disappear. Mainstream celebrities don't have that problem as much because you're right over there. Get the money.
Yeah.
Mainstream celebrities don't have to do that as much because they're propped up by the mainstream apparatus.
What do you think?
As for whether Gen Z idolizes celebrities as much as previous generations,
You can start with that framing, but then as overall since the internet era.
I think that Stan Twitter is populated by Gen Z.
Yeah.
And that means
Stan Twitter?
Stans, like,
the
the group of people
Stan.
that,
I was like, who the hell Stan?
Yeah, idol worship celebrities and girl groups, especially like K-pop. That's populated by Gen Z. But I also think they probably put these celebrities on a pedestal for the exact purpose of toppling them down from those pedestals.
They love that even more.
To watch the cyclical rise and fall of each one.
God,
So
that's evil.
I think the ones, that is pretty messed up. So I think the ones after you guys will just despise them.
That would be an optimistic view. I mean, I'm
You
not
think
sure.
so? Because I think it's as we've become more hyper connected, I don't have anything of respect for you unless you earn my respect.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a very biased view of mine because I've worked in marketing, and when you're in marketing, you it's like a socializing career. You meet people, and I work here, so I've met interesting people, and I've seen that at the end of the day they're just human, so that kind of demystifies them.
Yeah.
But I feel that more and more celebrities are very demystified.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the internet has done that. Like the instant accessibility of these people, except for it's kind of the opposite in some respects, right? Like I don't feel like social media has actually made celebrities better. I think it's made them worse. I think they had more of an air of mystery, and they had a better, and they were better at their job when you didn't know everything about them or have instant access to them all the time. It left things up for you to wonder about, right? It's kind of why I like not following celebrities on social media. Like I don't really know what's going on with them unless a story like this comes out and it becomes part of the news cycle. I don't want to know, just because I liked an actor in a television show does not mean I want to know what he does in his personal life. I don't need to know that.
I think that this story about Mindy Kaling resurfaced because people are obviously understandably angry about Velma and the disaster that it's been. And it's gaining traction so that we can point out her tendency to self-insert into the project she's involved in.
She would have been a
but
great
someone like
fanfic
Mindy
writer.
Kaling is always going to be bolstered by the industry because of the friends she knows and the greater
having a unique
actors
identity.
and writers that she's worked alongside. But she's actually very mediocre.
But she has power now because she's a producer as well.
Yeah, and she knows that she's anti-fragile. Yeah. She knows she can make something as awful as Velma is and get away with it and still have a career afterwards, which is kind of blackpilling.
This will come up again in 5 years at some point. It'll be annoying. Guys, before we move on to Super Chats, I would like to ask everyone, please like this video. Leave comments on this video. Positive or negative, whatever you feel is the right thing to add.
Hate.
Yes, send us hate,
you
man,
want.
if you so desire. But leave comments on this video, like this video, share it with your friends. Need more likes. It helps us with the algorithm. So there were some super chats there.
Yes. Francisco Sanchez Jr. said first. You were first. Congrats. Andrew Jacobs said, please consider reviewing that 90s show. Might be even worse than Velma. Proud to be a new Timcast subscriber and crisis actor.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Welcome.
Hello. And I have heard, I've gotten several people send me messages for like that 90s show just saying, oof.
Is it really bad?
Though, what's his name? The lead actor doesn't look like he's aged a whole. I mean, he's old, but he looked old in that 70s show. So
Ashton Kutcher?
the Otis, what's his name? The lead actor's name.
I never watched that 70s show. It's kind of before my time.
It was pretty good.
So I wouldn't know how that 90s show is ruining it.
It's I mean, it's also really funny because they have to just pretend like Danny Masterson never existed.
That's crazy.
Like they have to.
Yeah.
It's just like, where'd he go?
That's awkward. Isn't that trial still going on, by the way?
Yeah, it's still going. Oh yeah.
Kind of awkward timing.
Yep.
I'm just going to say bad app. Bad app said 10 crisis parties and Mary watches Harry Potter.
How about that?
Yeah, I would be willing to do that for 10 crisis parties.
It'd be
for
easier to
sure.
get through the movies than the books. You could knock it out in a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be super excited about it, but if you guys want me to watch Harry Potter, I'll do it. And on schedule, I promise. Caper2X said, dunking tank for 300 at Chicken City. At Chicken City? Why at Chicken City?
That doesn't seem like a good idea.
To share audio with that live stream. Potatoes for Seamus said, hello, Ben, Mary, and most importantly, the main Dane.
In the chat, Subway Jack 919 says Topher, LOL. No, I wasn't talking about Topher Grace. I'm talking about the dad. I can't remember the dad's name, but yeah.
Caper2X said, have not seen Velma, but agreed with the 90s show.
Look,
That 90s show?
we're in an era now where like you take what you can get. So we just reviewed The Last of Us episode 2. It was fine. I thought the first episode was a little bit better, but the pacing is a little bit off. But in general, I think it's good. Like you take what you can get, and that's about all you can ask for these days, especially with so much bad stuff being made.
Caper2X said, never apologize, Mary. It's a sign of weakness.
Red, yeah, that's the guy's name. Red.
What did I apologize for?
That's also Leroy Jethro Gibbs' number one rule in NCIS.
I
Never
don't even
apologize.
remember.
Sign of weakness.
Russell Tander said, is it possible to get Mr. Timpool himself on the show, as he often laments of no longer getting the same amount of chances to talk about movies or series anymore?
Yeah, right. Look, he's like completely. I was like, since like starting
What did you
Twitter.
think would
like,
happen?
He's like talking about The Last of Us and Velma on Twitter. I'm like, bro, you're like not that far away. You come up here and talk about it with us. We'll talk about it with you.
Jacob Edler said, can you please use different thumbnails for review videos? Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, and it's Red Foreman and it's Kurtwood Smith. That's the name of the actor. And the funny thing about that is he was actually in an episode with Eric Foreman, who was played by Eric Foreman on an episode of House. So yeah, all of them together.
I don't know about if it's possible to use different thumbnails for the review videos, but it generally says it's a review on the
Yes.
video.
Also, guys, I've made a playlist on the channel for it. So if you want to watch the Last of Us reviews, there is a Last of Us reviews playlist now being built.
Okay.
So
AS said, it's mycologist, and clearly there's an agenda to destroy the things we love. They destroy our heroes and history. There is no reason to keep using these IPs other than to mock them and destroy them.
I mean, is that what you got from The Last of Us? That you felt they were trying to mock and destroy something there? It was interesting that Wesley pointed out. He said he felt like Joel was more useless in this than he was in the game. Like he wasn't actually doing as much as he
Tess
was in the game.
has to
Yeah.
correct him all the time because he
Yeah.
wants to get rid of Ellie
Yeah.
as dead weight.
Well, let's
I think-
hope that changes.
I think art, the beautiful art, comes from suffering, and since a lot of the suffering that we have right now is a lot self-imposed,
Yeah.
and
Because
that-
life is so easy in the West that we impose our own suffering on each other.
yeah, and also because people are also I think people are very disingenuous with what they're actually suffering. They don't dare to actually say the things that hurt in these times, because what hurts doesn't go with the narrative.
Yeah.
So that's why art is stagnant, because we really can't reflect the things that we dislike.
Well, yeah. Also, it's really funny too because it's the same people that keep saying that they're against the establishment while being the establishment, and that's why art's not growing. They're like, it's like what's her name saying like, I know that I'm going to lose. It's like Demi Lovato saying I'm going to lose a lot of fans, but fuck Donald Trump. Sorry, I swore right there. But it's just like. Of your however many millions of fans, do you think any of them like Donald Trump? No, because they're desperate. It's similar to what we were looking at when we were looking at Madonna and those pictures that we're going to talk about tomorrow. They're desperate to be against the system, but they are the system.
Yeah, and it makes sense when it's Madonna because she's old and out of touch. But why are young people doing it? I don't get it.
And also with this is another kind of related but random thought. Well, with now that women are directing and producing more movies, every statistic that comes out about depression in the West, it shows that more and more women are antidepressants or self-identify as like depressed.
Yeah.
You'd think that there'd be more media explaining kind of why instead, and everything is boss babe stuff. So maybe they're inadvertently saying it.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, this is great, but they're like dying inside.
Yeah. Let's do one more and then we'll move on.
Okay. David Lee Nelson sent us $1.99 without a message. Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right.
We're going to move on and talk about a scandal that happened.
Scandal.
A fake AstroTurf scandal that happened with Stephen A. Smith. He
So lame.
he
This
made,
poor guy.
Yes, he made the grand mistake of liking Beyonce marginally more than he likes Rihanna. And the internet just exploded with backlash against him for this. So
Look, those Beyonce
here's
fans
what
are not
happened.
one to mess around with.
No.
Right. Stay on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, he was on Sherry Shepherd's show. She's taken over for Wendy Williams, and they talked about the fact that Rihanna is going to perform at the Super Bowl. And this is new because she's taken off time from doing music. She's more been in the business of selling beauty products, and she just had a kid. So I guess that's why it's newsworthy. But he responded by saying, I don't want to say I'm not excited. She's fantastic. And he went on further. He was like, she's spectacular. She's legend.
Great. She's amazing.
Because, he talks in this
Effervescence.
exaggerated tone.
Yeah.
He's from ESPN. He has to have big opinions, right?
Yep.
And then he qualified it by saying there's one thing she's not. She ain't Beyonce.
Ugh.
And look, if you have seen clips of Stephen A. Smith, he does this to get viral moments, to become a TikTok sound, right?
Yep.
Or to get posted elsewhere, to go viral, right? So he exaggerated his very tepid opinion about Rihanna.
And then was just smacked down.
and was immediately humiliated across the internet. I was shocked that this even got as much attention as it did. Like, are we really that desperate for happenings?
Yes, we are. Well, it's just funny to me because it really is. It's like you could mess up at any point in time. Like, if he had done this the other way around, what if he had said, you know what Beyonce's not? She's not Rihanna. Like, would the same thing have happened? Would the same thing have happened?
No.
There's no concrete terminology. There's no concrete standards as to
why,
what makes something apology
but
worthy.
Beyonce seems to have been given this sacred cow status in Hollywood
Yeah.
where you cannot
She's like Michelle Obama.
say anything negative
No, she's
about her.
higher, dude.
She's higher than Michelle Obama.
I've in this podcast I've said several times that I had to write a 15-page paper on Beyonce and the male gaze, and I got a B, which is miraculous, because it's as if I didn't believe what she'd said enough.
Unbelievable.
So, I don't know what it is about Beyonce in particular. I think Beyonce in culture is the equivalent to what Hillary was in 2016 in politics. But this woman is untouchable.
Yeah, can't touch her.
And, I am man, I am full of sin. I've dated many liberal women in my past. And all of them I've asked, listen, mi amor, please explain to me why Beyonce is such a big deal. And all of them say, you just wouldn't get it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But please explain. And they can't explain.
I don't think any of
they
them
can't
listen to her
explain.
music.
No, they do. No, they do.
I had this friend in high school who literally had a picture of Beyonce in her locker. And I was like, wow, are you really that into Beyonce? And she was like, yeah, I love her. She's amazing. And I was like, why? And she was just like, she just is, okay? And I was like, she could not name a single song that she liked other than Single Ladies.
It's like a weird.
And then later on, she admitted to me, she was like, I was just embarrassed to admit it, but like I didn't have a personality and I just pretended to like Beyonce because
honestly,
I was young and naive.
That's stan
what
culture.
A queen.
That's
and I was
stan
like,
culture.
Damn, I mean, good on you for at least admitting it. Anyways, Stephen A. Smith was driven to humiliation and he made the following apology video, and Leslie Jones didn't accept it because it's her apology to accept or refuse.
You're a superstar. You're sensational, and you are a worthy person to be doing the Super Bowl halftime show. I apologize for creating whatever brouhaha comes up.
Is this a hostage situation?
I was like, I can't see the gun off screen.
Why is he in such a dark, why is he in the back of a van?
What a P word.
People twist it and turn it into something it ain't. My bad on that.
Dude, you can't do anything anymore, and this
that.
goes right back into what we do on the show here. Like anything you say becomes either whataboutism, or it becomes like, so what you're saying is, and then insert whatever viewpoint. It's like, it's very interesting how I've noticed that you can go in one completely different direction with your conversation, and what people take from it can completely contradict what you were actually talking about. It's actually kind of fascinating because it kind of speaks to human communication and interaction when it's done in a platform where you can't respond in kind. Like, so it's a lot of people are like, this is what they would have liked to have said to him if they were there, but they're not there, which then leads him having to make an apology about it.
Well,
what a stupid apology.
This apology was shown on The Daily Show, which has been taken over from Trevor Noah by Leslie Jones.
Is she the permanent host?
I do love
I think
TDS.
it's a temporary thing, but wow.
No, it's
Imagine.
no, they're going to be rotating people in and out.
Yeah,
Forever?
until they find
until they
a
find a new
permanent
permanent
one.
one,
But
yeah.
like, can you think of something more horrific? Leslie Jones, literally, we can't show the clip exactly in full, but Leslie Jones was screaming at the top of her lungs at the camera, addressing Stephen A. Smith after this apology because it wasn't good enough.
Do you think Beyonce
and she resented the fact that he called Rihanna sweetie in the video.
Oh yeah, they get really up in arms about any type of pet name or anything like that.
She
It
said,
Who is
make
they?
like your
Yeah.
hairline and back the F off.
Damn.
Like, I love that you're just allowed to treat other human beings like that. The level of disparate, like the disparate size of their reactions. Like, he makes a very tepid response that basically says, "I wish that Beyonce did the Super Bowl," to her like berating his actual physical appearance. And you know that if he made any comment to the contrary back at her, he would then be dragged for making a
we
comment.
know what happens when you say something negative
Yes.
about Leslie Jones's appearance.
You're not allowed to do that.
The
You're not-
world changes.
Funny if he was just like, yeah, in Ghostbusters 2016.
Which would be a fact. It would be a factual statement.
Yes.
So then Sherry Shepherd, who originally was in this conversation with him, made another video lambasting him because, you know, he just didn't get
just a
the
dude.
severe lashing that he deserved just yet, even after apologizing.
He's just a dude.
In this video, as she's talking about the situation, she's still deriding him, and then all of the audience is just white women with matching pink masks on their faces, clapping like seals.
Arf.
Yes, girl boss. Yay. Yes, Queen Slay.
Dude,
we hate him.
Then I need to know why. What is it about Beyonce that inspires this level of commitment?
Dude, I'm telling you, I've asked.
When was the last time she was relevant?
Is,
The last time I remember hearing anything about her was when she used the word spaz in a song, and then had
She's not relevant.
And she had Me Too background checks for her music.
She's
That was
like
the last thing she did.
She's like step 3 in MK Ultra. I'm telling you, like, she does something to people.
And all of the NPCs just have the software update that they have to idolize Beyonce, which is why they were reacting like that.
Is it
I think
like-
it's some
is it
mixture
is it
of
movies and
celebrity
TV?
idol worship
I don't know.
and white self-flagellation.
Yeah.
Like, Beyonce is the typological black woman that you are supposed to have like an obligatory worship.
That reminds me,
Because
somebody got really mad at me when I said that Beyonce wouldn't have been a thing if Aaliyah had lived. Somebody got really mad at
I
me
bet.
and gave me like a 5-paragraph explanation as to why, yes, in fact, Beyonce still would have been who she was if Aaliyah had lived. I'm like, dude, it's like I made a comment. It was it was half a joke. Like, I don't need a dissertation on why you think you're right.
Oh, but you do.
But you do.
You need to write a 15-page paper on her and the male gaze. So, okay. So, Michelle Obama, her thing is that white liberals see her as her minority mommy. But what would be Beyonce then?
It's the affluent white liberal females. The awfuls are controlling the narrative.
They talk a lot
Those
about-
were all of the women in the audience, just like clapping like robots. Like,
So
we have
basically,
to have this opinion. Yes. Yes, Queen Slay. We hate Stephen A. Smith.
What will I listen to while I'm cleaning the house? vibes from the women. Like they listen to Beyonce while cleaning the house.
I was just thinking about this the other day. Daytime television is in such dire straits. Like,
it's never been in good straits.
I mean, it never was that great, right? But they at least, they ran that shit like the Navy in the 90s and the 2000s. Like, Ellen was on her game, and now she just, up and left. Yeah. And there are a ton of late night hosts that have up and left as well. I think there's a vacuum to be filled there.
I mean, late night is absolutely the one that's gone
it's way
the worst quality.
Well, because the late night host actually has to be funny.
Guys, Jimmy Fallon, I mean, I've never seen more pain in someone's eyes than him.
His laughs are just so
hey guys,
rehearsed.
I like to dance and be silly.
It's like his life is a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, it really is.
There's a great episode to be made there.
Right?
Right? Like
just a satirical take on Jimmy Fallon's
terrifying
life.
I think part of it for Beyonce is also like it's been such a part of like pop culture in general. Also, remember she was they keep calling her AstroTurfed. Her dad was a music producer.
Who?
Beyonce. Her dad was a music producer, which is why.
I remember this story she told where her dad would make her run up and down staircases while singing to improve her breath work. And she dropped out of school in 7th grade, which is actually a common story for a lot of celebrities. They drop out in the middle of usually before high school and never go back to school because they just pursue that entertainment career to the fullest, which I understand, if that's your choice, that's cool and everything, but I don't think that they value education as much as they say they do. And they behave as if they're overeducated individuals, but they know nothing about the real world.
We are getting dangerously close to a crisis party, and then I'm going to ask the chat to see if anyone can pull. I picked a Scream. I didn't pick the King Kong Scream.
I haven't even heard this one.
Yeah,
is it actually scary?
No. I don't think it's scary per se, but somebody will have to be able to tell me in the chat if they know what movie the line is from, and then we will have to see. The rest of it, is it scary? Is it not scary? I don't think it'll be scary to the chat because it's farther away. They won't be able to hear it as well as you guys will. The people downstairs will definitely feel the room shaking slightly once it goes off.
By the way, over 900 viewers.
Yes.
Pretty based.
So apparently Beyonce is a big deal.
Right?
Frick! I didn't even know it. But
us shitting on Beyonce is a big deal.
So you're not allowed to.
I saw this update here. Yeah. Stephen A. Smith said, after his apology, since his apology has been universally rejected, despite the fact, by the way, that Rihanna has said nothing on this subject.
Why would she care?
She of course doesn't care. Probably has no idea who Stephen A. Smith is. So here's what he said. All of the stuff going on in the world, and I'm being accused of black-on-black crime because I happen to like one artist more than another.
Would that make it misogynoir?
You've got to be kidding me.
A what?
Handcuff me now. Put it behind my damn back. Y'all got to be kidding me. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Black-on-black crime.
Would that make it misogynoir because he's also a guy?
Probably.
So he's not just a misogynist. It's not just black-on-black crime. It's misogynoir.
There are so many pseudo-intellectual conversations to be had about him liking Beyonce more than Rihanna.
See, that's why you should like our show, guys, because I'm not an intellectual. Because I am, in fact, dumb.
We're not pseudo-intellectual. We're anti-intellectual.
Yes. Yes. I'm anti-intellectualism.
Yes. You can't just be not an intellectual. You have to be actively anti-intellectual.
It's like has anybody ever seen the movie Boiler Room? In the scene where they won't let you join the firm because it's a boiler room scam. They won't let you join the firm if you've got an S7 an L7 license, like a broker's license. So here, yes, you could be like, oh, I've got a degree in broadcast journalism. We don't want you here on this show if you've got a degree in broadcast journalism. We're not here to do broadcast journalism. We're here to do fun.
It's actually wild to me how Beyonce dropped out of school at 13 and people are studying her career in college. Like for actual credit toward a degree that will get them into a position of power over you. Terrifying. Thank you. Oh, I like that.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This is a lot.
Okay. No, I'm dreaming. I must be dreaming.
If anybody can tell me, I'm not sure if they've heard it that well.
So disturbing.
If they can tell me what movie
I feel like
that was from.
I'm having a fever dream right now.
Can I say something?
Yeah?
I miss the dance tunes. I need something to dance.
Yeah.
Well, look,
we do need like a crisis party.
a song. Like,
of
look,
some
somebody
kind.
will have to make a dance song.
Someone
for me
hit
to
up
use.
Carter and ask him about this.
But look,
But that was Carter's voice, by the way.
the crisis party part was crisis
Party.
party was his voice. So you guys will have to you'll have to, if somebody can tell me what movie that was from. Oh, somebody in the chat got it.
They got it.
The Aquarian got it. Yeah. See if anybody else. Yeah. Okay. It is from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when April wakes up in the turtle's lair and she's looking directly at the horrifying image of Splinter.
A couple of people are saying they couldn't hear it.
Okay.
So we need to make it louder for next time. But it's really
It's
loud.
so
in
loud.
person.
It's so loud in here,
All right.
guys. It is like, it would be, the only other option would be to put it in the headphones, and that would take more programming. It's already automated, so.
And we might die.
Thank you. The Aquarian
we might
Aquarian
have
got
panic
it.
attacks in here
Yeah.
if it gets any louder. So
Bjorg with the pipe says, Brett, no one could understand that. Well, the Aquarian understood it, so somebody did. Yes, I had a lot of fun making that one, and I'm going to need suggestions for the next sound effect. So if you ever want to scare the crap out of whoever's on the show, feel free to donate.
yes.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Yeah, it's
All right.
about time. Bad App said, Milf Manor episode 2 review. There's no Milfs in Milf Manor.
Sad.
True. Very true.
It's very sad.
Sad.
Shimmy Shelley said, Brett, you were so right about Banshee.
Oh yeah, like if you haven't seen Banshee, everyone should go watch it. It is one of those shows. If you like Anthony Starr in The Boys, all of the actors in that show are top notch, kind of in the way that all the actors in Justified are top notch. It's a lot of, like, somebody calls it pulp fun. I remember Jamie said, like, he's like, it's pulp, it's fun. It really is pulp. Like, it's so outside the realm of any real world storytelling, but it's so much fun. And I don't think you would like it. There's far too much nudity. I don't think you would like that, but it's, in general, it speaks of a different time. It's really, really good. Go watch it if you guys haven't. It's on HBO Max.
Creative Juice said, how was the March for Life, Mary? Nice to see a young person with morals. I appreciate you, but I'm not a simp.
Yeah.
Okay.
How was it?
Yeah, it was cool. I got to meet Jonathan Rumi, which was fun.
No idea.
I haven't seen The Chosen yet, though.
Also, like,
He plays Jesus in The Chosen.
Oh, wow.
It's like the crowdfunded biblical series.
it's on Tubi, right? Somebody said it was on Tubi or something.
I think it might be on one of those platforms, but it's
Is
mostly...
it a Quibi?
It's like it's on its own
That's such a
website.
vibe.
You like stream it from the website, and it's 100% crowdfunded content, which is pretty cool.
So, in the chat,
nice guy.
Dumbledore says too much nudity only applies to shows with people like Mindy Kaling in it.
Yeah, I mean, I could have definitely gone without a scene of Velma taking her shirt off. That was not fun. Chris has said, no to big tech, destroy the internet, go back to monkey. Yes, we're Ann Prim on the show. Tacti Platy said, Mindy Kaling is an unattractive agent of Big Avocado.
Why would Big Avocado hire an unattractive agent?
What use do they have for her?
Is there a reason to hire unattractive people?
Yeah, there's plenty of hot yoga chicks.
Like, I understand why they hire hot women to be spies. That makes perfect sense. They can get into places that men will never be able to get into. Why would you hire an ugly woman to be a spy?
Interesting.
Where is her pro-avocado propaganda?
Yeah, is there something that I missed? Was she eating avocados in Velma and I just missed it?
I bet she loves Avo toast.
I guarantee. Oh, no. I think she'd make fun of it. I think she'd make fun of it as something that...
In a very self-aware way.
yeah, yep.
High Voltage 75 said, did you have to fight any pink hat wearing harpies in DC, Mary? I did not, but I did see them there. There weren't as many counter protesters as I thought there would be, because in general, people don't really care about this issue.
When I was there last year, there was I didn't see, I think I saw one group of
There's always some.
There was like a couple on like a street corner.
I mean, there were more than usual
Were you
this year
filming?
just because
Yeah.
of the Supreme Court decision, but not that many. And they were demonic as expected.
I was there filming Seamus for the website last year, and like he was basically like the closest you can get to a rock star at such an event. Like,
What did he do there? Was he
Seamus?
doing like interviews?
Yeah,
or?
he did a lot. We did like man on the street stuff and talking about it.
Did he go up to counter protest?
I don't think we saw any. Like by the time, like there was some at the entrance, but by the time we got in there weren't any there.
Okay.
There was people like looking on curiously, but in general.
Yeah. Chris Garcia said women, and then there's like a wait, what is that emoji?
It's a coffee cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Women, am I right, guys? Yep. And then he said Stephen A. Smith giving those DJ Khaled vibes.
Look, I got a soft spot for DJ Khaled.
He rules.
I got a soft spot for DJ Khaled. I admit that. It's not celebrity worship. It's somebody in the chat was like giving us crap. They're like, oh, it's not celebrity worship when we do it. There's a vast difference between like liking when a celebrity makes something good and like making a Twitter stan account for somebody.
Yeah.
Or like building your identity around Brie Larson. You're just weird, dude. You're just weird.
When I was in my young 20s, I remember I downloaded Snapchat just because I wanted to follow him because he had the keys to success. And
I loved that. With the apple emoji and the key emoji.
Hilarious.
Iconic. Back when Snapchat was a thing, like celebrities had Snapchats and used them.
They were the best.
That's been over for a while now. David Lee Nelson said PCC should have 1 million subs. Always look forward to Brett and Mary's intelligent, salty culture takes. Hope the Velma reviews don't kill Brett. Peace.
Look, we've learned.
I hope so too.
If there's one thing we've learned, it's that I don't do well when I'm sick, as in today, and I don't do well when I'm emotionally ruined by something disturbing. And that's what. It's funny. Mary got angrier in episodes 3 and 4, and I emotionally disconnected from all of it as like a coping mechanism to deal with how awful it is. But it's like at a certain point, you develop a certain callous around what you're watching, and you're just like, look, this wasn't made to be liked. It wasn't made to be fun. It wasn't made for anyone's actual enjoyment, even the people that made it. I don't think it's made for Mindy Kaling to enjoy. I don't think she knows how to enjoy things. I think she's anti-enjoyment. So it's like people like that, people who are miserable don't tend to like very much. People who make it's like the same people who talk about when they make content. So to take that, you incels, the people who make content just to make other people mad, they're not joyful people. They're not here to make things for you to like. They're here to get what little dopamine hit they can get out of the world by seeing you angry. So in a way, we are part of the problem because we give it airplay. But at the same time, people are enjoying our reviews of it, or everyone's reviews of it, because everyone loves a woke dumpster fire. There's the woke, Hollywood, it's so woke. Like, it is what it is, dude.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, I listen to PCC while cleaning, like now, LOL.
Well, hey, look, as long as you're not listening to Beyonce while cleaning, we're
Seriously.
good. We're good. We're like, hey, I'm the one who's always standing
Hopefully
people who
we're
like,
a step above
I always
that.
talk about people when they, like, I love that people listen while at work, but listening while cleaning, that's good too. That's good too.
C2 Gaming said, daytime is trash, late night is trash, and news wants to control you. Welcome to TV, unplug. Yep. Just don't unplug if you're watching PCC.
Yes, leave it plugged in.
Old Warrior 34 said, whenever I'm sad, I remind myself that at least I'm not as dead inside as Jimmy Fallon. So true.
That's a good mantra.
That would be like rock bottom for anyone. I'm surprised that he's still,
His latest little vaccine one was definitely staring into the abyss and the abyss staring back.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on. We're going to get back to the super chats later. Right now, we are going to talk about Milf Manor. We originally covered this when the trailer came out because it was absolutely insane. But now that it's been airing for a while, it just got even cringier than we thought possible. Basically, Milf Manor is promoting incest. They have invited 8 women between the ages of 42 and 60 to this island in Mexico, along with their sons, supposedly telling the contestants that their sons would be on a separate dating retreat from their own. But actually, the younger male contestants in their 20s were all of their children. And there was a challenge on the show.
Who came up with this?
I'd love to
I
know.
bet
So weird.
one is going to be one lady's a stepmom of the kid. And
I thought that this was
history will take
pretty
its course.
bad at first because I heard about one of the contestants' sons being part of the dating pool, but at undercover so that he could give intel to his mom or whatever, which is weird, of course. But this is even worse than we thought originally. So they had all of the guys in their 20s line up with their shirts off. They blindfold the female contestants and have them feel up the male contestants to tell which one of them is their son.
Yikes.
Wow.
So let's just react to this clip real quick.
Okay.
Ay, Dios.
It's absolutely horrifying.
We get a text, we have our first challenge, and all the young men take their shirts off.
And all the young men.
The suspicious lack of MILFs on this show.
The moms get a blindfold, and you have to go up and touch all of the young
Dude,
men and figure out
I
by
can't.
touching their chests and abs and shoulders which one is their son.
What is this?
Which one
What does
came
that
out
mean?
of your womb 20 years ago?
What is this?
Absolutely disgusting, obviously. And like we were talking about this before in the context that they're promoting age gap
God.
relationships when it comes to the women being older and the men being younger. But now they're just outright promoting incest to the point where it's like even the people who are enjoying the show are weirded out.
Even porn would have the decency to make them stepchildren.
That's what I'm saying. There's gonna be
It's bad.
a lady that's gonna be a stepmother to one of the kids. Birth control.
Birth
time.
control.
Sorry.
Hag Island. Yeah.
And I don't know what they'll do then.
Well, yeah, like I saw this other clip below. Let's play the next
the
one
one- this
because
one here?
it's exactly what you're talking about,
Yeah.
Dane.
No, it happens.
Look.
Okay, hold on.
That's come out of his mouth has been just. I'm just raw. And I'm just like.
You're welcome. This is your dad.
Okay.
You're gotta be joking.
You know what room we're in.
Everything that's come out of his mouth has
Yeah.
been just.
So that happened.
Dude.
I don't know.
Dude.
Like this is just too weird.
It's so weird.
It's like
dude. It's astroturfed weird
saw this-
social engineering.
yeah. I saw this comment that was like R.I.P. Sigmund Freud. You would have loved MILF Manor.
Yeah, he would have loved
or
Milf
like
Manor.
R.I.P. Oedipus. You would have loved MILF Manor and stuff like that.
You
Yeah,
can't
just some very, very Oedipal, Freudian, psychosexual stuff happening
And
here.
it makes- and it
I
makes-
want nothing to do with it.
It makes women look bad. It makes
Oh, yeah.
it makes the men. It makes the kids look like they've been abused. It's
Right.
just weird, dude. Like, okay, I'm not saying that everything has to be like some positive message, but maybe we could shoot for not having incestuous storylines on our reality TV shows. Can we? I understand that like there's a certain level of like pulp and filth that has to be on TV at a certain
Has
level.
to be.
It feels like these days, but like maybe we could shoot for slightly higher standards.
I mean, I think Dane and I have a certain license to talk about this because we both love trashy reality television
We
more
love
than
it.
you do, Brett. We love like the dating shows like I like Love Island, Love is Blind,
even if it's
90 Day Fiance.
Somebody in the chat says
all
it's a
of that
fake.
stuff.
Even if it's fake, even if all of this was fake and every single person on this was an actor, it's not being portrayed as acting, it's being portrayed as if it's real life. In which case, it's even worse for the culture because it's not even
Right.
taking real people, it's just taking a disturbing storyline and making it mainstream with actors.
If
How
they
is that any
scripted
better? It's
it-
not better.
Yeah, if they scripted it so that all of the contestants knew that this was going to happen beforehand,
Yeah.
it's even weirder that they found people who would be okay with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yes, like they don't have a problem with that.
Like they're very shockingly casual about the fact that they're watching their sons dating other women their age or older.
Also, will there be a DILF Manor where dads and their daughters go on and do this?
Oh my
Please
God.
no.
Is that going to be a thing?
I don't want any of this to be shown. Like I think there's definitely a place for some harmless trashy television. But
This is next
just
level.
This is next level. Like it's too far.
It's the frog in the boiling pot. It's like little by little we push our society a little bit further and a little bit further. And I'm no moralist, not by any sense of the imagination, but maybe we've reached the kind of the same way that when I really thought society would have reached its end when people started realizing what maps were.
Yeah.
Maps.
Sure.
I thought that's where society would finally be like, okay, let's put our foot down. Maybe this is where we draw the line.
yeah.
It really shows how remedial people are.
It's too trashy. It's too trashy. Like even for you, if you guys.
I mean, it's
can't
beyond
do it.
trashy if it is just promoting actual evil, you
Yeah.
know? Like, that's what it's doing. It's beyond just being salacious or entertaining and cheap. It's actually evil. Like, this is kind of satanic. Like, if I don't want to be like the Bible thumper who calls it that, but could it get any more obvious? And then on the other hand, there's this very reasonable take that, you know, if a show like Milf Manor
Yeah.
is supposed to be destigmatizing the sexuality of women older than 40.
Yeah.
Then it's doing the exact opposite of that stated goal. Because by pairing them up with all of their kids, you're essentially saying that the sexuality of women older than 40 is
tethered
something
to their children.
disgusting, gross, and scandalous in and of itself. So
Well,
you're
then-
not even doing the girl bossery. You're not like, having them slay queen slay like you're saying that you are.
I
Like
think
what
that-
You're not
situations-
accomplishing the goal that you think you are.
What situations do they want to arise from this particular setup? You know what I mean?
I think
I
that
didn't mention this too. The moms are roomed with their sons throughout the duration of the show.
So I'm guessing what they want is to eventually one or the other to hear them bang.
Huh?
Dude, this is so...
That's the implication.
Who's the producer in this show?
I mean, I'm sure we could find out quickly, but
We have...
I don't know. Like, this is sort of representative of a larger problem as well. Like, beyond just the individuals who are involved. I don't know. Like, would we review this? I feel like wrong about even talking about it.
I'm against reality television in all its forms. So
Why are you against reality
'Cause it's garbage.
television?
Hey,
I hate reality television.
should we do it?
I don't think so. But
No?
I mean, I don't think that the answer is to be against reality television in general just because a few people have ruined it.
They will never make a dad's version of this show, and the line about them destigmatizing sex for women in their 40s is absolutely a lie.
Of
That's
course
not
it's a
actually what
lie.
they're trying to do. I will never watch any reality television, let alone this. Like, if I'm not going to watch Survivor, I'm certainly not watching this. That is for sure. But this is a perfect example of how they change culture one step at a time, one show at a time, one experience at a time. Somebody will grow up, and this will be the norm, and then something will have to be made 10 years from now that will be more shocking than this. I don't know where
Wow.
you go
I don't know.
after this. I don't know where you go after this.
I don't think that this is a condemnation of reality television as a whole. It's more just a condemnation of where our culture is at, or at least it's Hollywood showing its hand of like where they want the public's taste to go.
Yeah.
Like this is the agenda of like taste making that's going on right now to pornify mainstream entertainment.
Radioactive Girl Scout says these women are in their 50s plus, not in their 40s for F's sake. I think they said they were
It's 42
anywhere
to
from
60.
42 to 60. So
Yeah, and then I saw this tweet that said there's a new episode tonight.
I mean, mentally, they're like 6.
Yeah.
When you hear them talk, like, I'm not
Oh, of
good. I
course.
look like spiders. Like,
and this is
what
like
the hell?
shockingly similar to the 30 Rock skit of MILF Island,
Never
Yeah.
seen it.
where it's like 50 MILFs and 20 8th grade boys. And it's essentially
It's their sons.
making fun of MILF Manor before MILF Manor ever existed. Absolutely hilarious, and I wish that we could show it here, but we can't.
yeah.
Also has Alec Baldwin in it.
Dude, I'm going to predict the future, guys. They're going to do some of teachers and their students.
Oh,
Probably college.
gonna-
They'll
yeah.
do college, but they'll.
come on.
And they'll call it bad teacher or some BS. They're going to, I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to tell what could get worse than this.
I can't do reality TV. I don't know how you guys do it.
I mean,
with
there's-
great pleasure.
There are some that are completely like normal, like
Yeah.
they have adults who are not related. That's kind of the baseline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love is Blind is a good show.
I mean,
I'll say it.
for a part of it. When they're in the room, when
Before
they get
see each other. After
Yeah,
they see each other, I clock
it's
out.
absolute dog shit after.
Right. But yeah, my reaction to this is like, no, just politely decline. I would not like to see this. Thank you.
I wonder how stuff like this gets to production. Like, okay, I'll ask this question: how do you send out a casting call for something like this? Like,
Right, because they're claiming that the contestants are not told what's going to happen.
and to be fair, like in the chat, Creative Juice, MTV's Teenage Mom. I mean, we've done trashy reality television that exploits people for years.
Sure.
This is just another end of it.
But then there's another argument that like there are so many people who made careers off of being on like Teen Mom or on Survivor,
Yeah.
on any of these shows.
Yep.
So,
like, I want to know how they cast something like this.
well,
they
they're
just
recruiting
go to
from,
Are you
quote
dead
unquote
inside?
struggling actresses, right? Women in their 40s, 50s, 60s who already have, blue collar Hollywood careers.
Yeah.
Who are looking for opportunities like this. They're like, they're Instagram influencers. They're like wannabe Real Housewives.
The poster must have been, are you dead inside? Are you a single mother? We know. Why don't you come to blah, blah, blah?
For me, when I see stuff like this, as somebody who pushes back from time to time on whether I wonder whether Hollywood's objectively evil or if it's the result of a certain producer with a certain vision and less oversight from other producers and from the networks, it is hard to look at stuff like this and not think that there isn't some greater agenda at play.
Of course.
So.
Yeah, of course. Even if it's not as, deliberately devised, as some people say, there's definitely an agenda to normalize sexual deviancy with shows like this.
My biggest
Shut it
gripe,
down.
I would ask the
honestly-
chat to let me know. Am I crazy for at least asking the questions, guys? Like, look, I don't want to fall into the nutso conspiracy theory stuff all the time right away. Obviously, we see plenty of stuff that kind of talks about stuff like this. We're going to talk tomorrow about Madonna and this lame photo shoot she did, and like stuff like that. I don't get as demonic. I get it as I think I'm edgy because I'm old and I can't let go. But with a lot of it, it's like for every bit where there's an awful situation like, when there's a situation like Madonna, then there's something truly abhorrent like Balenciaga. So it's where do you draw the line? When does it become evil conspiracy, and when does it just become bad people making bad things completely disconnected from each other?
Do you know how you fix this show? It's the same premise.
You don't make it.
No, trust. Hey,
Trust the
me.
process.
Marketing man extraordinaire. Let's go for a ride.
Okay.
So same casting call, same concept, but instead of being sent to an island with your son, you get sent to a therapist, and it's like, okay, what's going on?
Why did you consent
You
to
just
this?
signed up to humiliate yourself for live television.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like Chris Hansen. Like,
Yeah.
let's take a seat. Why did you consent to a show
Un-effing
like
yourself.
this?
Okay, even here. Look, people work here, do Cast Castle and stuff like that, and even then, people have limits to what they're willing to do on screen. So the people that are willing to do this, it takes a special breed to be able to find a type of person that is willing to do this much to themselves in the name of niche internet fame, or I guess niche reality TV celebrity
I'm going
fame.
to commit acts of incest on reality TV to become a niche internet micro celebrity. Totally worth throwing away my dignity and moral compass.
I guess that they would be a step above niche internet micro celebrity into the realm of like
don't
reality
even know.
TV celebrity, meaning that they would be next to like the Real Housewives and stuff like that.
Not even there.
So I don't know. Like, to me, it's just one of those things where I could never be like this. Like I can't. Like, I have a hard enough time exposing like sharing my views with the world and leaving that open to people's judgment, let alone people viewing you through the lens of something far, far worse.
Someone said, we need to study the brains of these television producers for science. There's got to be valuable medical data to be gleaned from the minds of whatever caused this to happen. Yeah, truly freaks of nature.
Well, I mean, like, also think about the amount of people it needs to go through to get something like this produced. So you don't just have your producer, you have the head of the network. You have all of these people that have to sign off on something like this. There's somebody whose job it is to be like, well, what else do we have in the lineup this month, Bob? And then they have to look at the skits and look at the different shows and be like, well, I think Milf Manor fits perfectly in between this show and this show.
And this is on TLC, by the way, the Learning Channel. We're learning so much from this show.
What are we learning?
Another take was that this is like, this is, what's to blame for this is actually the normalization of cis heterosexuality.
The normalization?
So normal?
Incredible.
This is heteronormativity in a reality show. Like, no. Don't turn this
There's
around.
more of that fake intellectualism.
And
using big words doesn't make you smart.
Yes, like, don't turn this into a thing where you're going to conflate heterosexuality with incest. Yeah. We're not even going to go there. Like, I'm not even going to engage with an argument as disingenuous as that. But if anything, like, as we've gone down this slippery slope, the opposite is true. Like if we had some more heteronormativity, I think we wouldn't have gotten to this extreme.
Dude, somebody in the chat, somebody had a good point. They pointed out, he says, I think they're trying to capitalize on the stepmother, stepson fetish in porn.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is worse because they're not this is actually related, which makes it 100 times
it's
worse.
Not porn, it's real.
Which and set to different standards and somehow not banned from regular television viewing.
Hell no.
With no evidence, I'm gonna blame Anita Sarkeesian for this and Gamergate.
Yeah.
We could turn this into the next Gamergate.
Somehow, this is Zoe Quinn's fault.
Seriously.
Anyway, it's like Tucker Carlson said. It's just a disgusting postmodern psyop, and anyone who falls for it is demented in their brain. Let's go to Super Chats.
What a sign off.
Keaton is ballin', said, Happy Monday, PCC crew. That new party sound is awesome.
Ha!
Thank
Yes!
Brett for it.
Yes, I like to hear it. That's that makes me happy to hear that. Thank you.
Caper2X said, Bloody Mary for PCC dance crazy tune, Brett.
It has to be something like, I don't know if music would be copyrighted. Like I that's what I'm saying. I'm weary of using music.
Does he mean that Lady Gaga song?
I assumed he meant the
If
Lady
so,
Gaga song.
not possible.
I worry about copyright for stuff like this.
I want more voiceovers from Carter. That was awesome.
Well, I mean, I feel like that one can be reused in different settings.
I feel like I'm off center now.
You're good.
In my shot. Jazz said, I'm one of the people whose favorite movie is Avatar.
Ah, well, that exists.
Well,
It's
get
okay.
help.
I wouldn't say get help, but, interesting choice. Dumble Derp said, please, Dane, read this. Okay, they want you to read this
Can you pull
part.
it up?
It's going to be very hard for him to read it.
It's pretty far back in the Super Chats, so we can't pull it up on the screen.
I know it's that line from that movie I've never
Yeah.
seen. Let me.
From The Princess Bride?
Yeah.
By the way, super overrated movie.
Oof.
Princess Bride
I have a
is
feeling that
not-
the chat's going to take issue with that.
I don't know why everyone likes Princess Bride so much.
So I found the quote. I'm gonna do it just for you.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Prepare to die.
There you go, Dumble Derp. 1,000 Foot Deep End said, I never listened to Beyonce. Also, my work is cleaning. LOL. Oh, okay.
That's even
sense.
better. Then it melds the two worlds together.
Bad Op said, episode 2, you find out one of... Oh, gosh. No, I'm not going to say that. But, essentially, that's what is already happening in the show. So,
I mean, completely within the realm of what you would expect to happen on something like that.
Colt said, did 30 Rock do a version of Milf Manor on their show? Yes.
Yes.
Milf Island.
And that was not that long
Is
ago.
now real.
And that was not that long ago.
When
And
was that? 2016?
The sad thing is, that's probably where they got the idea for this, because they're creatively bankrupt.
Do you think?
Probably.
Bad Up said, soon they'll make Maps Playhouse.
Oh my god.
I mean, we're literally not that far
We're
off.
not look, I used to take for granted the fact that we're not that far off from something like that, but you never know.
Bobcat said, the problem is, quote, cougars is if it was 40-plus-year-old men simping for teenage girls, someone would call the cops. But if it's women doing it, it's okay.
It's always okay if women do it. Don't you know that?
They're not. To be fair, the men in the show are in their 20s, and I think a couple are in their 30s. So
At this point, I don't
that's a
think they
little
call the
different.
cops. Hot take.
I mean, I want to make the distinction that it's not teenagers on the show. They're definitely adult men, but still.
But I love the idea that there's a dude at the freaking network who's like, and that makes it okay.
No, I wouldn't say that makes it okay.
No, but I'm saying that that there was a dude at the network who said that. He was like, well, it's fine. It's not like they're teenagers.
Well, I don't think anyone put any pushback on it whatsoever if they've taken it to this extreme. Because they don't have anyone reality checking them. T. Ryan said Survivor equals Big Brother equals Honey Boo Boo
Hell no.
equals Milf Manor. No.
You're wrong.
No. Is that like the reality show pipeline?
No,
Yeah.
bro.
I mean,
Actually,
Survivor's wholesome.
Looking back on it, Toddlers and Tiaras was bordering on like creepy toward kids.
yeah, there was
Because pageantry gets a little bit.
I mean
inappropriate.
the way they're dressed,
Yeah.
Survivor.
the makeup.
Survivor is just people starving to death, doing death-defying things, and this country's obese, and they need a little exercise.
I want Ninja Warrior to come back.
That was awesome.
That was on G4,
That's a great
wasn't
show.
it?
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with American Ninja Warrior.
There is non-Ninja Warrior of all kinds.
Bjorg with Pipe said, cougars are a Luciferian refusal of God's will. And
Even that's too smart for me.
That was a good use of $2, I think.
okay. That app, I'm not reading that. Chris said, if this was MTV, the moms would be sleeping with their sons on the first episode.
Probably.
Is MTV really that bad?
I haven't seen it in years.
I mean, I only know
The last
Catfish.
thing I watched on MTV was the Scream television series.
Okay, other than Catfish, I can't think of the bigger MTV shows that are most recent. But Catfish was actually really good. Because at least they're volunteering to be embarrassed.
The Real World, the original reality show.
Yeah. Bad App said TLC means the Learning Channel.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
We're learning a lot right now. All right, we're going to move on and talk about a feminist comic book that idolizes Brittney Griner, who is allegedly a drug smuggler. But, actually that just means she's a girl boss. And I think it's just awfully poetic that the authors of this female force semi-biographical comic book line, they're male feminists.
Yes.
Who
There's
you
a
should never
Stormy
trust.
Daniels one.
Yeah, I'm more interested. I was more interested in
made
the
them
Stormy
about
Daniel one.
Barbara Walters, Lady Almina, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Stormy Daniels, Hillary Clinton, and Elizabeth Warren. And I know the next one coming is Megan Rapinoe because this is a quote. This is a quote from one of the publishers. He said, Brittney Griner has an amazing personal story, and we wanted to tell more stories about women in sports. She just happened to be the first. We have plans for women in soccer and more. So we know the next one is Megan Rapinoe, the pink-haired feminist in women's soccer.
No way.
I mean, what else could he be implying there, right? So this is supposed to chronicle Brittney Griner's story of being imprisoned in Russia for carrying drugs on her person.
Why does Stormy Daniels have
Three?
Three.
RGB gets one. Get right.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg only gets one. That's my question. Is it because one happens to be more camera?
Dude, nothing cringes me out more than the notorious RBG merch that they sell at every feminist bookstore.
Yep.
I mean, they even have it at Barnes and Noble. Like, how is this mainstream content that's being sold to NPCs right now?
I noticed there's no Amy Coney Barrett one.
Oh, right. Of course.
Well, they talk about in the article that they said they did like a conservative female conservative voices one. I imagine it's like Meghan McCain and like
right. I think they might draw the line at Meghan McCain and go no further.
They just put Tim Dillon.
Hey, that's a good idea.
So this is from Tidal Wave Productions line of Female Force Comics, created by Darren Davis and Michael Frizzell. I think one aspect of this that we're missing is that it's like a you evil Russians plot.
Yeah.
Like, you evil Russians, I know what you're doing. Like, this article seemed to think it was promoted because it's anti-American. But actually, like, because she was going to be playing off-season
in Russia. Yeah.
Which means, she's anti-America. She's been open about hating, the fact that people say the Pledge of Allegiance at WNBA games. She's sat out from the court during the Pledge of Allegiance as well.
The funny thing about this is
systemic racism and all of that nonsense.
Over the weekend, I happened to rewatch the masterpiece Lord of War, starring Nicolas Cage, which is a movie about it's a morality tale about the life of an arms dealer, one of which his character is the amalgamation of 5 different arms dealers, the main one being Victor Bout, who is the gentleman, the merchant of death who was traded for Brittney Griner just a couple of months or just a month ago or however long ago it was. So I was actually just watching that movie this weekend, and now they should make like some type of follow-up about his release from jail, and they could have Brittney Griner in it. I don't know who they'd get to play her.
I'm sorry, but Brittney Griner is just not charismatic enough to justify this. Some other people who have gotten issues are Sarah Palin.
Yeah,
Kamala Harris, Jill Biden, and Justice Sotomayor.
They think of Sarah Palin as the perfect spokesperson for conservatism because she's like kind of dorky and like she had the bimbo-esque tone about her back in the day. So
I wouldn't remember.
They see her that way.
That's funny though.
But Brittney Griner, yes, I don't know if we can call her a convicted drug smuggler. I suppose she is, right? She was. They denied her appeal. So
they were about
for all
to
intents
sentence
and
her
purposes,
to a decade in Russian prison.
well, no, they denied her second appeal. So technically, she was convicted, right? She got 9 years or something like that.
She
Chat's
was going to be
wild.
sentenced.
What are they saying?
I don't want to say it.
Okay, yes, we will not say. Well, look, I am sure the Stormy Daniels one is very, very good. In fact, I might have to pick that one up.
Which
for,
one?
I might have to pick that one up for research purposes, purely for research purposes.
I see.
I mean, I think I'll just
Don't
say
Google her.
this. I'll say this, and I won't go any
Yes,
further
Google
than this.
Stormy Daniels for more.
There are
don't.
other reasons than Brittney Griner being annoying that maybe she shouldn't be featured in a female force.
Okay.
Yeah, aren't there
book
any
line.
other women you can make it about? Literally anyone? Like some lady
If
at
you're
your
picking up
local.
what I'm putting down, let me know.
Like I'm just saying, like, how about somebody like that works for your local school? Is there like a teacher that's been there for 30 years? All the students love her. You couldn't do a book on her?
Why not Lauren
Well,
Boebert?
because
Yeah, why not
well-behaved women rarely make history. That's why, Brett.
No, Dane's right. We need to cancel all of this and make it about Lauren Boebert.
And
A
I-
5-part miniseries.
Unironically, it would probably be pretty successful if
and
they made
I
like
would buy
a real.
multiple issues of all of them.
If they made like an
Seriously.
ACB one, an MTG one. Why doesn't AOC have
She
one
has
yet?
she has her own, a separate one through a different company. She has her own comics, her own documentaries. She's oddly enough more famous than all of these people when you really think about it. Like at this point now, she's bigger than Hillary Clinton. Like as far as like this type of medium.
Leave it to a Puerto Rican chick to sell out better than anyone else.
Look, I'm just saying, a Lauren Boebert one that's like 5 issues, a picture only one, maybe. Like, let's go, right?
Let's do
No.
Someone said, so we're promoting breaking the law and how to be ungrateful. I'm pretty sure kids know how to do that already. Clown emoji.
It's a microcosm of what's going on in society, right? Like 2 decades ago, I don't feel like this would be something that you would necessarily cherish.
Well, of course, because like even after someone like saved her ass from rotting in a Russian prison over a stupid,
committing
premeditated crime, she still was ungrateful and gave no credit to the people that like actually helped her.
by doing a insane smooth brain thing, like trafficking drugs on.
Well, I mean, she brought vape
To another-
pens
nah, she did more than that.
because she's an idiot. Like
Yeah.
she brought vape pens that had THC into.
It wasn't just that. Didn't she have like actual flour?
I thought it said like she had vape. She had vape pens that contained THC. She's just dumb.
I love spreading fake
she's,
news.
She's dumb and extremely ignorant and extremely hateful. Therefore, she's the perfect person to make a comic about.
Guys, can
And
you fact check me, please?
If you look at the comic panels featured in this article, it shows like her being taken away in cuffs saying, I love my family. And like this, as if this is some kind of national hero.
That's the worst part. It's the way that they try to make her seem like some type of good person.
I'm sorry. I'm not buying
I mean, maybe
it.
she is.
It's not like she was going in there just to play basketball and they just arrested her for no reason. They arrested her for a legitimate reason, and you're just changing history.
Why would they make one about Barbara Walters? Did Trump
They-
say something bad about Barbara Walters?
Barbara
it's like they
Walters
only
is
make
kind of a-
something if Trump has said an insulting remark about the woman.
Also, I'm surprised there isn't one about Betty White because Betty White is such a big part of pop culture history.
You think?
Yeah, people love Betty White. Is very, very like memeable in like a good way. Like people love Betty
Yeah,
White.
she
I'm
she
surprised.
rolled.
She did.
But maybe that's why. Maybe she didn't say enough bad stuff about Donald Trump, so that therefore
She wasn't political enough.
Yeah. So look, I don't think they did her any favors with the drawings. I'm gonna say.
No. I said it looks like Wiz Khalifa with glasses on. I'm sorry.
Black
I'll
and
say
yellow,
it.
black and yellow. Well, do you feel like this is one of those things that they're hoping that 10 years down the line people will forget about the drug possession part and just remember the imprisonment part?
I mean, they'll probably chalk it up to systemic racism in the history books. So.
Well, yeah,
Nice.
because of Russia.
Yeah.
It's not just systemic
Or-
racism
no,
on our part, but also
Putin,
Russia.
Putin got on his earpiece and he was like, "Get her, boys."
That's exactly what happened.
and then that's exactly how it happened.
He got mad that we got involved in Ukraine and was just like, that's it. I'm taking your WNBA player for all of the 6.5 people that watch the WNBA.
Totally.
The biggest strike to America since 9/11.
Probably brought more press to the WNBA than anything
Ever.
else
Oh,
in the last
the
decade.
number one headline after she got out was like I said the biggest trade. Isn't it weird how the biggest trade in sports history happened in the WNBA because it was her being traded for Victor Bout. Like it's kind of true, right? Like, and that's the other thing, right? Look, if you guys haven't seen Lord of War, go watch Lord of War, and you'll see how awesome
Where do
that
you watch
movie
it?
is. It's what
What platform?
it's on HBO Max. It's a movie. It's not a. So it's
Okay.
it's a medium time investment.
This is hilarious. Here's a quote from the publisher. This story is about an athlete who overcame obstacles.
Stop lying! This is what I hate about the freaking media, dude. They
like 5 words.
the blatant disregard for any level of objective truth is so freaking disgusting. It makes me sick. Look, how can you do that? How can a person with any sense of conscience write that?
Here's the thing, like, it makes sense that this would be written and illustrated by 2 male feminists.
Yeah,
like, women
that'll
don't
do
care
it.
about this shit. Women also, I mean, I'm sorry, women are not the majority of people who read comics either. This is for male feminists to pat themselves on the back when they purchase it, not actually to support women. This is like, okay, I bought the supporting women M&Ms yesterday because I'm a hypocrite and I also hate watch Velma. Come at me. But it's the same principle. Like, yes, I'm supporting women by paying men and a mega corporation money to give me a product that has nothing to do with supporting women.
Dude, Brett is fuming right now.
Here's
I've
the
never seen
actual
him like
quote.
this.
This story is about an athlete who overcame obstacles.
What obstacles did she overcome? I'm actually asking that question. The obstacle of getting somebody in the world to care about the WNBA?
That is an obstacle to overcome.
That's a pretty big obstacle. The obstacle of proving that drug laws are inherently a problem, I guess, but it wasn't something she was trying to do.
They said it's not about politics. We started working. That's BS, by the way. It is, of course, political. We started working on this story 4 years ago to diversify our line, as we featured several male athletes in past issues. Her development as an athlete and her struggle with coming to terms with being gay and a black woman, first at a religious college and then in the national spotlight, are the focus of this issue. We use that focus to inform what should be included and what we'd have to leave out. For example, as our story developed, we thought we should add 2 pages about her arrest in Russia.
Oh, so you're gonna just gloss over that because you don't want to
footnote in the story of Brittney Griner.
You don't want to admit the fact that she committed a crime to make it happen. Look, if you want to make it a part of the story where she's like, look, I got myself into a whole heap of trouble and it was required by the U.S. government to get me out.
This is actually hilarious. They had to rewrite those 2 pages to update after she got traded for the other prisoner. So they wrote it thinking that she would stay in prison.
Even worse, then she doesn't get it. Like is she getting royalties for something
no
like
kickback.
this? Like, does she get any money for this? Her family?
This is for male feminists to get a W, not women.
I mean,
Stop.
I don't think even male feminists get something out of this.
No, literally nobody gets anything.
get to
The only people who got
self-aggrandize.
anything out of this was the WNBA got 5 minutes of visibility for like 3.5 seconds because this chick brought drugs into it. It's the line, okay? I don't even care that she committed the crime. I think the crime's a problem anyways. And it's like, but look, you did something stupid. You deserve to pay for it. But at the same time, it's like, at least be honest about it. Just don't lie. Is that so much to ask?
This says her detainment in Russia for carrying less than a gram of cannabis oil in a vape cartridge through an airport has overshadowed her achievements.
No, it
Read
hasn't.
her inspirational story in this latest installment of
Nobody
Female
knows-
Force.
Shout outs to me for spreading fake news.
Nobody knows her achievements because nobody would know who the hell she was if it wasn't for the fact that she got arrested.
Absolutely
This
not,
comic book
yeah.
doesn't get made unless she gets arrested, you twat. Like, come on, dude. Like,
What team does she play for?
the Mercury?
Phoenix Mercury.
Mercury?
The Alabama, who cares?
Like,
That's funny.
the best way that you can there are more than a few comedians who have made a point of saying, like, if you can name 5 WNBA players I will take back what I've said about the WNBA. But there was one where I don't remember who the guy was, did like he did like a segment about this, and he says like, you can't name 5 WNBA players, and there was a WNBA player in the audience who says, I can't even name 5 WNBA players.
Dude, there's more rebounds than points in WNBA. I remember being 14 and really being into the NBA, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch WNBA. It must be the same thing, and it was.
Looks like last month they published one about Mariah Carey in the female force line.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all about the Mariah Carey.
All I want for Christmas is you. Look, you know what I mean?
Look, here's the other thing about this is like, for her, look, I can understand wanting to get the comic published, but I could ask for just a little bit of sincerity, just a little bit of honesty. I'm not mad that it got made. I think that it doesn't need to get made. I don't think that it gets made without her going to jail. Aww. But maybe you make it about like, look, they made one about
Dolly Parton.
Look,
let him cook.
Maybe they do something where she says, look, where she comes through at the end of this and says, look, I made a mistake, and here's how you do not go down the same path I did that landed me in trouble.
Brett, are you asking accountability from a liberal
woman? I'm asking for anybody, man or woman.
Is that the miracle you're trying to manifest in like 2023?
Or if she doesn't,
not gonna happen.
If she doesn't want to take accountability for actions, that's fine too. Then you do not put her on a pedestal, you freaking weirdos. Okay.
I don't think that any of the subjects of these comics are being consulted on what is included in them.
Well, okay, that's like I said, then it's weird too, because they're like, they have to add it as like a footnote, like she didn't know it was going to get made. She's like, and it is kind of morbid to think like she knows that this doesn't get made if she doesn't become a prisoner like in a foreign country.
Right.
Like
her greatest achievement was like getting arrested.
Like
for being dumb.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
is Brittney Griner on mugshotties?
No, here's the thing. That's something. If you're arrested at a civil rights march, or you're protesting some great injustice, and a intolerant government locks you up, sure, then maybe one of your. This is not Rosa Parks. It's not. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the lying.
The next civil rights struggle is for
people
who are addicted to vaping.
To have vape pens in Russia. She's like, I'm the Rosa Parks of vape pens in Russia. Like that's what she should that's what she should be. Like I just
This is the closest thing we have to an actual struggle in the first world.
That goes back to what we talk about. Like, we have no struggles, so she's like, well, I've got no real struggles. I better go to Russia and create my own struggles.
I wonder
Maybe
if
then
it
I'll get a
was
comic book made about me.
premeditated like that. I don't know. Let's go to Super Chats, though.
Fine.
I think that Brett needs some time to cool off.
This was the best segment, I think.
It was pretty great. 1,000 Foot Deep End said, I used to listen to PCC at work, but after Mary's slanderous comments about The Princess Bride, I'm reconsidering. It's the first movie I ever watched.
We're not going to get a second crisis party now because Mary had to slander The Princess Bride. I see how it is.
Okay. I'm just saying I don't see the hype. I watched it. I didn't like it that much.
Mary wakes up every day. She's like, how can I annoy the audience today? And then she says...
and they still love her.
And they still love her. Like, what else don't you like? Rainbows? Kittens?
I like kittens.
Yeah, you're not... It's a dog. You're not a dog person.
Yeah.
No.
What?
I'm not a dog person. Colt said, I can't wait for the next sports feminism comic to be about the epic battle between the American Olympic team and the 15-year-old boy soccer team beating them. This is going to be the next Spider-Man.
Yeah, right. That's that one's always really funny.
They'll also make one about which was that Olympic gymnast who like took a mental health break.
Dude, we should.
Gabby.
Gabby. She this year she's like the best gymnast in the entire world, and she like just stopped because of.
Dude,
I forget her name.
Can we crowdfund a live stream of Megan Rapinoe and her team getting wrecked by 15-year-old boys?
Is it Rapinoe? I didn't know it.
Megan whatever.
Rapinoe.
Megan Rap mean chick.
Chat, what was the name of the gymnast who just quit in the middle of
Gabby something.
Oh, Simone. I don't know how.
Simone Biles.
Yeah. She's and the funny thing about that is like that's where like more of my less tolerant side comes out, because like on one hand I'm like, I get it, like you don't feel like you can do it, but the other hand I'm just like, dude,
no,
all the work that went into getting yourself I guess I can't relate on a personal level,
not only
like
that,
to get to that level and then just give up.
She didn't compete. She had all this hype, which again, like, I know that must be stressful. But then she has the audacity to like put stickers where she's like GOAT, like the greatest of all time. You know, the greatest of all time competes.
The
And
greatest
some
of
would
all
say
time
wins.
didn't take a mental health break.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Well, like the
Yeah.
other one is like I always thought that this was like a weird thing where they're trying to tear down your idols. There was a gymnast named Carrie Strug at the 1996 Olympics who did like a vault or whatever, and she injured her ankle really badly, and then like still did her last run and landed it, stuck the landing, won the gold for the U.S. or for I guess for herself. It was a single event, and that was like a big deal because it was like somebody overcoming odds that were against them. She was injured and she still competed. And then you find out years later that they made like a documentary about how she didn't want to do it and like it ruined her life to do that. And she's like, you can't have anything that you loved as a child. Everything's been ruined. Nothing you loved was what it was. Like I'm waiting for, I would love a
That's
hilarious
the chat's reaction when Mary doesn't like the Princess Bride.
I would love somebody to make like a fanfic of like how we cheated to win the 1980 U.S. Hockey Olympics, like how we cheated to beat Russia in that game. Because that's like there's been like long-standing conspiracies. Like, did we drugged the goalie on the other team, or like there was a spy, and like they did an X-Files episode where like the cigarette smoking man gets in and like he puts like a poison in the guy's hand so that his glove hand is slow.
It's going to get to the point where they're like, maybe the British should have won the Revolutionary War.
Also, I am with Dustin in the chat. The Olympics have proved to be a grift in a lot of ways. Like, there's no national. Maybe it's just here though, because national unity is at like an all-time low here.
What's more of a grift is maneuvering to become a mental health activist instead of doing your job.
Do you know?
Well, because they all see it as a way to get, like, they don't ever even see the Olympics as their job anymore. They see it as the stepping stone to their next
They're an
job, which is to be a
influencer.
lame social media activist influencer, which is the dorkiest
Guys,
thing you could be.
I can fix America overnight.
Yeah.
Just put hot people back in movies and television.
Yeah.
Literally all you have to do.
Yep.
Because then you'd have good ambassadors for whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you about to name somebody?
No, I was gonna say, I was like, in general, like, look, there's a reason why you put attractive people on screen, right? Like, outside of like certain roles where like the person's not supposed to look like $1 million, but for the most part, you know.
You hated what they did to Anna Torv.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that one really bothers me. They shouldn't have done that.
Carnell said, make Brett's outburst rant the new Crisis Party sound. This is my request. That is all.
Hell yeah.
What was it? Like, what obstacles are there?
I apologize. The outburst just happens sometimes. Hey, look, it's the disingenuous and oftentimes like blatant way in which they do that. Like, you can tell there isn't an ounce of shame in writing that. Like, they don't care for a second that they're framing it in the most disingenuous way possible.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
Tacti Platy said, Mary, M&M mascots are canceled now. Good job.
We're going to talk about, I think we might talk about that tomorrow too.
Is it because
it involves Maya Rudolph, who's from Saturday Night Live. In the chat, Shimmy Shelley says Brett hates when they ugly up the ladies. To be fair, I don't like it when they ugly up the men either. I think the guys should be good looking too, because then it's not believable if the.
They never ugly up the men.
I mean, there's been a longer standing tradition of plain looking dudes with hotter women in Hollywood than there has been now. With
You're just fortunate to be in this podcast with two studs.
Exactly.
So true. Clint said, he like sent us like a little thunderstorm.
Thank you.
For their rage. Thank you. Caper2X said, we can't annoy Mary. We want to see Tina again.
Who's Tina?
Who is
Nina?
Tina?
I think they mean Nina. Maybe Nina.
Her name is not Tina. What is wrong with you?
Tina.
Do you not even remember her name? Ethereal Menace said, Mary, why you gotta say that about Princess Bride? No. Love that movie. Like a really well-run beer and pretzel D&D game.
See, that's one of those movies you can't. It would be like somebody coming out and being like, I don't like The Dark Knight.
When did
and then
that come out?
the internet just eats you alive.
When did the Princess Bride come out?
Late 80s. Am I
Okay,
right about that?
Okay, then it's not. I didn't grow up with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's simple as, you know. I grew up with Princess Diaries, not Princess Bride.
Let's save the rest and go on to creepy Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, to end the show today, we're going to talk about Alec Baldwin's comeback to Instagram after facing charges for manslaughter. He could face up to 5 years mandatory in prison, but instead he is posting on Instagram sexual innuendo about his Spanish wife, Iradia.
Yeah, did you see her complaint in Spanish? And then everyone's like, why are you still trying to do this?
The grift is like so dedicated, you almost have to respect it.
You gotta respect it.
Like
she's
damn,
not giving.
You're
She's
from
not giving
Connecticut.
up. Yeah, she's not giving up.
Anyways, so it's confirmed from the DA in Santa Fe that Alec Baldwin is going to likely face manslaughter charges.
Woo!
Thank you.
Crisis party!
Jesus Christ.
Actually terrifying.
I'm dreaming. I must be dreaming.
Is this what purgatory is like?
I do love my job.
Yeah.
I do love my job, guys, and thank you for allowing me to torture my coworkers once again, just a little bit. Means the world to me.
That was a lot. That was a lot to take in. I don't know if I can do this.
See that's I'm now looking forward to every day some new person has to come in here and be like, what the frick?
Yeah, exactly. So he posted a picture of his son hugging his wife, and the caption is the old quote, "Let me give you a back rub" ploy.
Why would you do that?
Very awkward.
Yes.
Don't like the vibes on this one. Alec Baldwin is not only a suspected murderer, but also is just creepy AF.
Yeah.
Especially when your own child is in the picture.
What a heavy mother and son episode.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
What's worse, the accent or this?
I feel like Alec Baldwin just keeps on confirming that he is a sociopath. Because he doesn't
is.
show
He absolutely is.
that he understands the gravity of any of these developments. He doesn't show that he understands the gravity of like the possibility of going to prison for half a decade. When he has a child this young.
Is it just bravado and ego? Like he just can't
is he
contemplate the
getting
idea
informed
that
by his lawyers to act like nothing is happening?
Yeah.
Because like, dude, you could be facing charges and have to go to a hearing in like a month from now.
I think it's just textbook psychopathy because
Right.
I lived in DC. I've met these people. And a lot of them just think you're so dumb that you can tell them that they can tell you flat out to your face what they just did. And you're so dumb that you won't do anything about it. I think it's like that. I won't be surprised if at some point he's like, guys, like COVID was out. Like it was just a hard time. Who doesn't shoot someone in the face?
Well, it's the same tone deaf attitude that's all the celebrities had when they tried to preach during COVID from their mansions.
They
You're
also preach about
how hard could it be? Just
Yeah.
stay inside. You're like, well, I live in a box, like a sweat box, basically. You live in like I don't remember who it was. It was Oprah that was probably the most hilarious to me because
she did not interact with anyone for 2 years.
But my favorite was like they showed like a picture of her mansion where literally like you could both live there and never run into each other because of the size of the house. But the one that always struck me the most, and it seems weird, it was Pierce Brosnan did a thing talking about COVID, and he's in this. It was how beautiful the room was. It was like a sunroom, and it's just like that if the sunroom looks like that, then the rest of the house is ridiculous. And you're like, you lose all credibility when you try to tell me how to live when I very clearly do not live in the same situation you do. We are in separate realities. Are you in the same reality as Pierce Brosnan?
You know it.
Yeah.
You were in his sunroom with him.
My
actually.
sunroom.
I think you're right, Dane, that this is like textbook psychopathy
Yeah.
because at every turn he is reiterated like, I don't feel remorse for what happened, which is weird whether it was on purpose or an accident. And he's essentially made a joke out of it.
His argument is like, guys, this is going to affect me. Stop.
Yeah.
He himself is like talking
killed
about
someone.
the fact that blacklists exist in Hollywood while he is not on a single one of them
And he did
for
the
what
thing
he
where
did.
he's like, I hate the New York Post except for their sports page. Their sports page is fantastic. He's like, because it's like a Murdoch property. Am I right? It's bad. I'm like, dude, you got to go to trial soon. Shouldn't you be like slightly more concerned? But I mean, that's probably just the outcome of being from Hollywood, where they don't face the same justice that a regular person does. Why would he assume that anything different was going to happen here?
Yeah, and it was definitely pandering when the DA was like, no one is above the law.
No one is above the
but
law.
It's true. Like, can
Yeah.
we see any celebrity actually face consequences when they do something abhorrent that isn't, just making an offensive comment about a protected class?
Just pull a Smollett and be like, they're gonna off me in here. Let me out.
He should, pull a McAfee.
Yeah. No, I just
Do you think
Smollett.
McAfee's alive or do you think McAfee's dead?
Oh, I won't venture to.
I love that
make an
one.
opinion
That
on
one's
that.
McAfee's. We need
He's in Epstein
we
Island.
need McAfee back. Like we're gonna. I'm telling you, we're gonna find out later that island that they're on for Milf Manor is called Epstein. It's gonna be called Epstein Island. It's we call Epstein's Mansion.
Gotta use it for something.
That's what the manor is. It's Epstein's
Yeah.
Manor.
Gotta follow the tradition.
Look, do you think this is just a virtue of him being just tone deaf and just didn't understand why it was creepy?
If you're
he's just
this
that
tone
dumb.
deaf, you are a sociopath.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being tone deaf or making a joke that other people it doesn't land on social media, right?
Yeah.
And just making a joke after you got charged with manslaughter 2 days ago.
Is sociopath psychopath, but you're a wimp?
I'm pretty
Non-ironically.
sure the difference that people make is that sociopaths are made, psychopaths are born.
Yeah, you're born into psychopathy. That
Yeah,
you
I
learn
don't really know how it
sociopathy
works, but-
through.
So we're
child abuse.
sociopaths.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Got it.
It's like working here has turned us into sociopaths. Like reading stories about Brittney Griner has turned me into a sociopath. 'Cause
That'll do it.
It's the only way that I can deal with the hyperbole and the
You're numb.
ridiculous. Yes, I look if.
I wouldn't underestimate what Hollywood people are capable of doing behind closed doors.
They don't care.
And they still can sleep at night. Like when they do things like this and worse that we don't know about, I just wouldn't put it past them.
And his logic is like, well, I've got kids. Why should I go to jail? So what if she had her own family?
Okay, literally everyone has kids.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to humanity. That doesn't mean that you can just commit crimes.
Also, shouldn't
freely.
the progressives be mad at him for having so many kids? Isn't that bad for climate change or something?
How many kids does he have?
7.
7?
7.
Okay.
For him.
Yeah. I don't know.
He gets it in.
Yeah. So is that bad for climate change? I saw that recently that you're not supposed to have kids because of climate change.
Has Nick Cannon gotten the same pushback?
He's on a climate change watch list with Alec Baldwin and
oh my gosh, did you see that there was some blogger hacker person who outed the entire the TSA no-fly list?
No.
On some, it also, I think they had a bio on their blog that was like, I'm a 23-year-old queer, non-binary,
Same.
something or other, pronouns she, her, NB, whatever.
Dude, the
they were some gender goblin that put out, they published the no-fly list.
Oof. Gender goblin.
I don't know if that, is still out there or not, but I saw that over the weekend. It's pretty crazy.
The comment I like how some of these comments are literally just they're confused because maybe they just don't know how much of a sociopath he actually is. Says what does this mean? I'm so confused. It's a child rubbing his mummy's back. Mummy.
I'm not liking the Milf Manor vibes.
And then I'm not a fan of this one. That's how you get ice cream after 9 p.m.
Ew.
What the frick?
What?
Look, Milf.
All he's doing is hugging his mom in the picture. It's not even a suggestive picture. What is wrong with people?
Did this stuff always exist, or did the internet just make it more pervasive? Was this type of behavior always a thing?
They should have a caption on Twitter. Are you a demon? And if you check it, you don't get the account.
There was no, true or bet.
There was one on Twitter the other day. It says it was a caption said highlight the or click the alien, and it was a bunch of movie aliens and then pictures of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And it's they clicked on all of them and it said accepted, and Elon typed busted. They got him. Look. People are just weird, dude. This is one of those days where I don't even have anything clever to say. People are just weird and society is broken and damaged.
That's a summary of today's episode of Pop
Serious.
Culture
Like,
Crisis.
look, one of the things about this job is like you do sometimes have to ration out like the subject. Like even today, I think we went a little too far in like certain between Milf Manor and freaking Velma and like way too much like encroachment on people's personal space and social decency and the safety of like having a family that doesn't want to abuse you. Like. It should be a better question to ask is why are stories like this so prevalent?
Brain rot.
Kind of like I don't imagine that people in Italy are watching shows like Milf Manor. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh my gosh, you were literally HRH right now. Like this clip of HRH went viral where she was like, do you think people in France are doing beachy waves? Like it's not the vibe. Stop.
Look, okay.
Like I don't think people in Italy are watching Milf Manor. It's not the vibe.
Yeah.
It's really not.
It's not. Like,
Incest isn't a vibe, guys.
look, yeah.
Do we have to talk about things as vibes instead of like having a moral compass
That
now?
should be merch.
I'll do it. Incest
It's
isn't a
not
vibe, guys. It's not the vibe.
The chat is
Stop.
talking about how I'm losing it. Yes. Oh, now they're saying he never had it. Yes, I
Based.
it is what it is, guys. Look, I love it. I love my job. It's so much fun. We get to talk about this is the thing. Most days aren't like this. Like most days you get one topic like this and the rest of them are just generally interesting pop culture stuff. I'd actually say that what's funny is like the Rihanna one was like tame by default. It's just silly. It's like, why did this poor dude have to
I was
worship
shocked.
at the altar of another person?
That was kind of the stupidest one today because I looked at videos about it that had like hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, who are the people watching them?
It's
like
such
watching
a psyop. Like everything is a psyop.
No,
Everything.
I mean I think part is like we
Are we psyops?
We underestimate how big the mainstream is. Right? Like we misinterpret just how big mainstream culture is.
I want to be a psyop though.
Whoa.
How can we be psyops?
They're like laughing about my descent into madness. It's
You know
great.
what?
I love it.
Like, I think part
It's a
of this,
vibe.
I think
Yeah.
this is
It's an
partially
era.
because I wasn't.
Brett is in his meltdown era.
Look, I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so maybe this is like leftover from not feeling well. Like I still don't feel.
You have
that
all
great,
this
so.
pent up rage.
Like, yeah, if this had happened yesterday, it would be way worse. Like, because then I'd be even less coherent than I am now. It'd be horrible.
Let's go to Super Chat.
Fine.
DD Megadoodoo97 said, hello, PCC crew. Hello, Dane.
Hello.
The main attraction font.
I like that.
You guys ought to bring out John Dolmayan of System of a Down. He started Torpedo Comics, which doesn't include any woke ideology.
Guys, you gotta vote on my new condescending nickname that Brett's gonna give me on episode 300.
What will it be?
Who knows?
Yeah, give us some ideas in chat, guys.
What I would need to know. Also, I didn't even mention it earlier, guys. Meme review will be next week, not this week. Did we mention it earlier?
No, we didn't.
Because I wasn't feeling well yesterday, guys. We've decided to hold off on meme review for a week, and I want everyone to be rightly prepared for meme review.
Yes. Yep. Go to the subreddit. Caper2X said, Brett, try Leroy Jenkins.
Okay.
What?
What's
the context
You guys
for this?
don't know that? That's historical memes.
Huh?
It's like
Explain.
Great. Now I have to read a bunch of people.
No, Leroy Jenkins. It's just a bunch of dorks playing World of Warcraft, and like the captain dork, he's explaining. So we're gonna take this tactic, and we're gonna go in slow and do this and cast these spells, and they're just reading stats. And some guy just gets tired of them waiting. He says, "Anyway, let's do this, Leroy Jenkins," and the whole team dies.
Craig Cooper said, you guys would like my book about sheltered kids experiencing real life outside their comfy bubble world. Look up C.S. Cooper, Aussie author.
Okay. All right.
Interesting
I mean,
idea.
that's like we do need probably more stories of that, right? Also in the chat.
I think we need more sheltered kids. We need them to be like less in the world.
No. We need to actually expose kids to the real world in a healthier manner than we're exposing them to it now.
You know the reason that they're
Meaning
doing
not
TikTok
on the internet.
dances is because they're getting exposed to it.
Look,
If they were sheltered, they wouldn't be doing the TikTok dance.
also in the chat, somebody says, looks like Brett's got a case of the Mondays.
Sick.
As somebody who did just recently watch Office Space, yes, I do have a case of the Mondays
Sick
today.
burn.
Thank you.
Jimbo said, Baldwin has 7 kids. That man ain't firing blocks. Haha.
He's never missed.
Love
That's
that.
for
York
sure.
with Pipe said, how do you feel about Labyrinth, Mary? I haven't seen Labyrinth before.
That's not hard to believe. That's such a niche.
I mean, I don't know if it's niche. Like,
I mean, yeah, if you grew up in it, it's not niche. But I think now,
I don't think people my age have generally seen Labyrinth. Caper2X said, "Oops, senior moment, Mary. Nina, we want Nina. Make mine Marvel." Okay, well, I mean, I want to bring Nina back too.
Also,
Just depends on when she can make the trip out here.
And John Delarose. People loved John Delarose, so we will have to put them both.
A fan favorite.
We will have to put them both
From what
on
I
the.
hear.
We'll have to put them both on the please do return list.
And I have to actually meet the guy.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was going to be able to meet the guy, but I wasn't here. Bobcat said, "Brett, this behavior has always been a thing. Just sit down and read a James Ellroy novel. Any of his novels will leave you with no hope for humanity." Why would you want to read something that left him with no hope for humanity?
Okay, thanks.
Are we?
Jeez.
I don't even. The funny thing is, I've been so awful today in regarding to which story. Like which behavior are we talking about? Are we talking about the drug addicted lying, the incest, or the the creepy incest from the Alec Baldwin story, or like which story are we talking about?
Psycho Mindy Kaling.
I mean, I generally
sexually abusive Mindy Kaling.
I think Brett needs more hope for humanity, not less.
I definitely want more hope.
Unusable Alpaca said, "Brett, more Lauren Boebert, LFG. Oh, let's effing go. Keep on ranting."
Yes. If this comic publisher wants to make it up to me, they can publish a 10-part anthology series about the life, the career of Lauren Boebert, and I would even allow a fanfic edition about the conspiracy theory about her being an escort. Let's go. If you want to do a paperback, romance novel to be left in the airport. Look, that was a conspiracy theory. I didn't say it was true. I called it a conspiracy theory. If you want to make a paperback romance novel about Lauren Boebert's conspiratorial time as a supposed escort, said somebody on Reddit a long time ago, I would buy that book.
Okay.
Keaton is ballin' said Leroy Jenkins. Matt's S-Box Emporium said the youngins don't get our dank millennial sayings.
Seriously.
Like Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, seriously.
Now I just want to. I'm
I don't
sorry.
know the meme.
I'm stuck on Lauren Boebert now. All right. All right, guys.
Damn.
Well, you know, it happens.
What a show.
It's been known. Yeah, right. It was a show.
It's been a day.
It's been a day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dane, my friend, number one main guest host. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter at DaneFont. And now I shall spell that out for you. DaneFont. DaneFont.
Perfect.
I'm sure you won the spelling bee as a kid.
I didn't.
Damn. Okay, you can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can also send me hate on Twitter. That's also Mary Archived. I'm on Parler if you care about Parler.
I love the shade you throw at Parler every time you mention it.
I don't know, man. I thought that Kanye was going to buy it.
Yep.
I got disappointed.
I'm going to read one more before we go from Louis R. Says, Brett, what has been wrong with you? This is all natural and normal. You're just being irrational and hysterical. Calm down, dear. Here's a Lauren Boebert magazine and a Velma on TV. Yes, that's how you distract everyone in society these days. You give them Lauren Boebert magazines and Velma TV shows. What could go wrong?
It's mind control. That's what it is.
It basically is. All right, guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic. I promise you it's far less toxic than I've been today on the show. It's far more wholesome. It's far more wholesome and enjoyable. Mary's making a funny face right now.
I'm just looking at the chat.
All right. After you followed me on those platforms, you can follow the show. We are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. Thank you to everyone that has joined us new recently. It has been a pleasure to watch this show grow. If you would like to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I have actually started to get messages, and I was kind of excited about this in a weird way, of people saying that they've been unsubscribed to the channel without asking to be, which feels like we've hit some type of
that would excite you for some reason.
Well, it feels like we've hit some type of like rite of passage where this happens to YouTubers once they start to reach a certain size where people get unsubscribed without their asking. Please,
we're getting held down by the system, man. We're victims, actually.
Exactly. So guys, check to make sure you are still subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Like it, leave comments on the video, subscribe to the channel. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen rather than watch, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. We are also on social media, Twitter @popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok @popculturecrisis, and on Instagram @popculturecrisisPod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see y'all then.
Thank
Later.
you. Bye.